Continue. Okay, so I believe we're recording now. Okay, so let's go ahead and call roll. Cheryl?
Give me just a minute to get back in the other room.
Kelly texted me, answered me back. She's coming on.
Who?
Thank you,
Kelly.
John.
Okay.
When is she coming?
Kelly.
When?
Any
soon.
minute. She's
Okay.
she's logging on.
Got it. Okay, roll. Rock.
Rock, you're muted. And he seems frozen too.
Yes,
Well,
I know.
it's here. Armando.
Oh, there he is.
Armando's out of the room.
But he's
Armando,
here.
we're waiting for you.
I'll come back to Armando.
Right.
John.
Hey.
Barb.
Every month.
What happened? I'm here.
Thank you. Mary Chan.
Here.
Adrianita.
Here.
Braun. Not at the moment. John DeMeglio.
Here.
Dan Dixon.
Here.
Cynthia.
Here.
Lori.
Here.
Jan.
Here.
Melanie.
Here.
Kelly Miller. Has she made it yet? Come back to her. Alec.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Okay, going back.
Braun's at
to-
an attendees, over in attendees.
So Braun is here.
He's over in attendees. He needs to be moved over.
Armando.
Lori, you want to do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted myself. I already did it.
Okay, there he is.
I keep using the link you guys send me. It keeps sending me in.
It sends everyone
does.
there.
No, okay.
That's how it
No.
works.
No.
No, it doesn't.
I
Everybody
checked
get-
the link you sent me and it would have sent me even if I clicked it in the email.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
you didn't get an invite because you're not a
Oh.
board member. Anybody who's a board member got an invite, so should be able to click on that.
No, I know. And I clicked on the invite and populated it to my calendar and used the link that was populated in my calendar. So,
That's weird.
Brana, I'll resend it to you because
Okay.
So that it should update it.
all right. Thanks.
Okay, so Kelly, if someone sees her come in, please let me know. Otherwise, you're good to go.
Armando's back. So,
Yay.
okay. Let me go to agenda item number 2, board and committee considerations. Any item A, any single address by a board member shall be no longer than 2 minutes. We're gonna try to really keep to that, everybody, so that we can get out of here at a reasonable time tonight, please. So be concise in your comments. We're gonna go around and try to do one question first time around, and then we'll do another if we have the time permits, if we're running good. Board members are required to maintain their training and ethics. If you'll notice that we are 100%, it is so good to say that. All our training
Yay.
is 100%. Congratulations, everybody, and thank you for that. Any changes to committee meeting dates must be communicated to me to update the Zoom webinar ID. So if you're changing your date, most of them I'm trying to do reoccurring, but if you want to change them, I have to redo the Zoom appointment, if you will. So you got to let me know with plenty of time. And there's a lot of stuff going on at work, so a text message or something to let me know that we need to talk would be appreciated to me. So I appreciate that. So now we're going to come up to agenda item number 3, and that is public comment. The public is invited to speak on issues of general interest during the public comment period. Comments during this specific agenda item will be heard only. Public comments shall be limited to 2 minutes per speaker unless I modify it. The chair may establish a maximum length of time for all public speaking item. The public is requested to dial *9 if you are on the telephone, or raise your hand if you're on the computer when prompted by the presiding officer to address the board on any agenda item before the board takes action on this item. So public comment, Do we have any hands up? I am not seeing any hands.
That's public comment on non-agenda items, correct?
Non-agenda items, yes. Okay.
Ray, just one quick, I've got a question in the question box. The people who are there for the NPG grants, it's on the agenda. We'll move you over to panelist at that time.
Right. Okay, the time is 6:10. I got a communication from, oh, Pete just raised his hand. Lori, do you want to, let's
Go ahead,
call
Pete.
him and find out if it's a non-agenda item.
Pete, do you want to speak on a non-agenda item?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'd like to comment on the last coastal central northwest San Pedro neighborhood council joint environment sustainability meeting. I like to see when they put out the agenda that the chairperson's name and phone number is on there so the public can participate in that meeting. So we want the public participate, but we have to give them also the chance to participate. The way it is now is who we're going to contact. We want to know who we communicate with, and so the elections are coming up, so that we can vote the right people in there and communicate with the right people. So, like for instance, I don't know if you can see it. I have the agenda over here, and right on the top, there should be the chairperson and his phone number on there. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter.
Ray, just for clarification, okay. All agendas should have how to join the Zoom meeting, and they should via computer with a webinar ID, or they should include the phone number for people to dial in. They're not going to have the chair's name and phone number on there. It will have the information on how to dial in to attend the meeting. I will check that agenda and research it for Pete.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other hands. So now we're going to close that agenda item, public comment, and move on to item number 4, elected officials and government representatives. I started to say that Ryan Ferguson from CD15 wants to be able to say something. However, he will not be here until 7 or 7:15, sometime in between that. So I'm going to let him speak when he arrives. But are there any other elected officials?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
So how about we start with Scott from Nanette Barragon's office?
Okay, Scott.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Super. Great. Well, thanks so much for having me tonight for our last neighborhood council meeting of the year, board and stakeholder meeting, that is. I wanted to just come with a quick couple updates on some top line legislative items that the Congresswoman has been pushing over the past year. And what a year it's been. Unfortunately, I wish I could have more exciting updates for you on our legislative agenda, but nonetheless, I thought I'd bring you up to speed on where a couple of our bills are. First and foremost, we have our Climate Smart Ports Act, which the Congresswoman introduced about halfway through the year. For those of you who don't know or don't remember the details, essentially this is a $1 billion grant program through the Department of Energy for climate smart and zero emissions infrastructure for ports. This is a bill that got some initial traction, but as with everything in Congress and as with, with COVID and all the manifold crises that we've had to deal with, it doesn't seem like it is going to pass the Senate by the end of the year. But interestingly with this bill, It has passed the House twice. This isn't something that a lot of folks are too aware of, but it passed the infrastructure, it passed the House through the House infrastructure bill, I believe it was back in September, and that the initial funding that we had for it was halved to about 500 million, but otherwise it was mostly the same bill. But then it passed the House again with the House's the House energy package that was passed a few months ago, and that had the full $1 billion grant included in it. Now, both of these versions of our bill have gone to the Senate, and they've just kind of been sitting there and sadly languishing. That bill is something that we're going to want to reintroduce as soon as possible. It's probably going to be top line for our legislative team to reintroduce in the House at the beginning of the next Congress. The second bill I wanted to quickly bring you all up to speed on is our Energy Resilient Communities Act. This would be a $1.5 billion grant program to fund the acquisition of clean microgrids for emergency infrastructure. So that's emergency responders, hospitals, grocery stores, things like that. In the event of a disaster, having sustainable zero emissions microgrids. Most of it would probably be directed to solar, but we're also thinking perhaps incorporating some hydrogen power and such in the aim of the grant. This bill has been referred to the committee, but hasn't even been able to get out of the House. So sadly, this is also something that we haven't seen too much movement on, given everything that's going on, and given our top priority right now being finalizing a bunch of end of the year things like the budget, WRDA, NDAA, and then of course the COVID relief package that Congress is still negotiating, and the Congresswoman in particular is still pushing for that $1,200 individual economic relief for folks in need. So these two bills, while obviously not the most important agenda items in this past Congress, given everything that's been going on, they're still important pieces of the Congresswoman's green agenda, and we want to see these pieces of legislation passed, especially if we do have a more friendly Senate next year. So that's where those two bills are. I just wanted to let those of you who are interested know that's what we're looking at. And both of these bills are going to be reintroduced at the beginning of next Congress. I'll be really looking forward to joining you and the other neighborhood councils as well and updating you on the bill's progress once those things finally hit the floor again. But that's about it from me. I'm more than happy to take any questions if there are any.
Okay, Scott, thank you very much. Board, any questions? And we'll limit it to one question each if you have one for Scott. Okay, I'm not seeing any raised hands, so
I don't see any either.
let's Scott. Thank you for being here tonight, and happy holidays. And please extend our wishes to the Congresswoman.
Thanks so much, Ray, and best to your mom as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lori, any other elected officials?
Yes, we do have more elected officials. Okay, hang on a minute. We have, I know I saw Augie's here.
All right, Augie. Augie,
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good. Augie Bezmelinovich from the Port of Los Angeles. Next Board of Harbor Commission meeting will be Thursday, December 17th, 9 a.m. And it's via a video teleconference. If you'd like to submit public comments, you could do so. We ask that you submit them at least a day before. And you could either call them in or email them in. All that information is on our website, www.portoflosangeles.org. The phase one of the downtown, the town square and the promenade project, everything that is north of the fish market is really taking place and should be done by before the end of the first quarter of this coming year. And then everything south of the fish market will be done by the end of the second quarter of next year. Also, the Harbor Boulevard extension. The Harbor Boulevard extension project's going to be finished by also the second quarter of next year. Let me see what else. The developer is planning to get in there the first half of next year to start the development. Also, we're helping out Alta Sea and the Cabrillo Way Marina with some power, infrastructure for power down to their areas. And also there's gonna be some solar infrastructure, if you see that going on down there at Alta Sea. And cruise business, the cruise business is coming back. You're gonna see cruise ships coming in December. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some cruise ships. That doesn't mean that they're going to be taking passengers out. They have to go through several dry runs and different things to make sure that they're following CDC guidelines before they're allowed to take passengers on board. But they're anticipating that their business will be back early spring of next year. And that pretty much concludes my report, unless there's some questions.
Thank you, Augie. Any questions for Augie? We'll do
Yes,
also.
we have Diana Nave has her hand up.
Diana?
Hi, Augie. My question is the North Gappy beautification. Is that going out to bid anytime soon?
I haven't, can you guys hear me? I haven't checked up on that recently. I know that Front Street will, finally is getting broken up from a project. So that part is happening. I haven't checked up on North Gaffey Street. I'll check up on and get back to you.
Please do. And did the issue with Caltrans and the lot get resolved? Going through the park and ride?
Not sure. That was a hang up, but if that was going to be a hang up before we are anticipated date to go out for bid, they were going to remove that portion of the project. That's what they were planning on doing at one time. So I'll find out. I haven't checked up on that project in a while.
It still needs to be resolved, because even if they do the rest of the project without it, my understanding was they would still keep that in to come back. They would go back and amend to add that in. So we still want it to come through there.
No, but we didn't want that one little portion of the project to hold up everything else.
Right.
So they could at least, yeah.
Correct.
But I know I haven't checked.
But we don't want work. We don't want the work to stop on getting that portion either. That's the.
Yeah. No, that's understood.
And my last question is, there was a rumor which surprised me, and hopefully you know the answer. The rumor was that the port was tripling the rent on Crafton and the brewery that's down there by Crafton. Is that true?
No, Crafted, I remember when they went to the board a couple of years ago and got their rent reduced substantially. Now the brewery is a subtenant of Crafted. I don't know what type of deal they have with Crafted, so that might be true. But as far as Crafted, no, they have a long-standing deal with them.
No, so that's a bad rumor in the community that someone needs to address.
Okay. Again, I'm going to ask that we try to limit our questions to one so that we can make it through tonight.
We don't have any other hands up, Ray.
Okay.
Okay, and I just wanted to quickly make sure I mentioned that Kelly did join the meeting, so I sent a message to Cheryl, so we're good on that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's any other public officials here. Raise your hand if you're an attendee and you're a public official and I'm not recognizing your name.
Do we have anyone from Dunn that'd like to say anything?
I don't, there's
Yep,
a phone
we
number
have a
here.
hand. And just went up on.
Oh, okay.
462.
Go ahead.
Phone number 462. You're up.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
There you are.
Octaviano.
All right. Sorry, folks. I'm a little slow at this whole step-by-step process of unmuting myself, so my apologies. There's a lot of movements and steps that I have to go through, so thank you for your patience. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting to not have so many government officials before me, but thank you for the opportunity. It's great to hear everybody's voice. And Augie, I haven't seen Augie in a while. It's December, so I'm very grateful to be here with you all, with the holidays. Ray, so sorry to hear about your mom. We talked earlier today. It's definitely a tough environment for many of us, but I wish her a quick recovery from her symptoms if she's feeling any. She'll be in my prayers, of course, and I wish everybody a good holiday. So I do want to give a quick report on a few things. If I go too long, don't hesitate to stop me. The elections, of course, for neighborhood councils have already started for one of our regions. The Harbor Area Neighborhood Councils elections are the last ones. So we're lucky in that down here that we get to prepare a little bit more, whereas others had to really pick up really quickly. So I wanted to give some important dates to our board members and our stakeholders that are listening in tonight for the meeting, to have that in mind in preparing for either whether you're going to run for the board or participate as a voter, and to just simply either help us promote the idea of participating with people that you may know are civically minded and engaged and active and concerned about neighborhood issues, to keep these dates in mind. So for the Harbor area,
Fabiano?
oh, I'm sorry.
If I could jump in, I believe the election committee is going to present on that. Diana, is that correct?
Oh, okay.
Diana?
Diana, you're muted, Diana.
I don't know if Ron's doing that report. I don't know if he's prepared to cover the dates. Ron, is that part of your report?
Sorry, the dates as far as what?
The election, candidate filing and things like that.
Right.
No, we were going to discuss those dates because we had to choose the dates for the candidate information meetings, which we're going to rely on information from outreach first. I don't think we'd come to a conclusion on any of those dates yet.
Well, okay, we're just talking about the candidate filing and things like that. So
Yeah, I understand.
We went over them last month, but don't think we were prepared to do them again. We could.
It'd be good.
No, I mean, what I've got to discuss right now is just our bylaw letters and
okay.
places for application pickup. We don't have any set dates for anything.
Okay.
Good for Octaviano to do that.
So Taviano, why don't you go ahead and cover those dates again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'll be quick. And I do this just to plant some seeds with folks. We see June 15th, which is the Harbor Area's election day, as far away, but there's so much leading up to it that I do want to give these important dates that lead up to that. So the candidate filing period starts February 13th, so that's a few months from now. The vote by mail application period starts April 16th. I do want to, I asked for clarification with the City Clerk's Elections Division. The ballots must be postmarked by Election Day and received by the City Clerk's Election Division within 3 days thereafter. So if you don't feel that the post office is going to be quick enough for the City Clerk's office to have your completed ballots in their office, I would walk or drive it to the ballot drop-off location on election day to make sure that it does get collected by the city clerk's office. And again, election day is June 15th for the harbor area. The board gets seated July 1st of 2021. So very important dates. And if you have any questions, let me know about that. I do want to move on. There was a candidate information session this last Saturday, December 12th from 9 to 11. We expect to have a series of more sessions for those candidates that are interested in participating in the future elections for other regions, including the harbor area. But I encourage you to, some of these may be catered to specific regions. I encourage all candidates, all board members and stakeholders to participate just to get a sense of what the hurdles are and the goals should be for you as a candidate or someone that's considering running for a board. Go to one, go to several, it doesn't hurt. And of course, just a reminder that you do have your assigned election administrator, Lonnie Basulto, that works with your neighborhood. I think it's Lonnie Basulto. I always confuse them, but if you're confused,
it's Robert.
Robertino. That's right, Robertino. We have a few out here working with different neighborhood councils. So Robertino is your election administrator. If you have general questions or you misplace Robertino's email, you can email the city clerk's office at clerk.electionsnc@lacity.org. Board member trainings, I heard that you're 100% in compliance. Thank you so much. And that's not by no accident. I know that Ray and Lori in particular works very hard to make sure that everybody's up to speed with their trainings and works with me and our rosters folks to make sure everything's updated on our website. So thank you for helping in getting everybody in compliance. I do want to share that if you do want to get refreshers as a financial officer or as a board member, the funding division for City Clerk's office does have ongoing trainings, virtually, of course. And in your NC profiles, there is a link that leads you to their webpage. And they, on a regular basis, they add new funding training as well. So keep that in mind. For planning, I do want to highly emphasize that the last Planning 101 training hosted by the department will be tomorrow from 4 to 5:30. Again, Planning 101 training, last one before the deadline on the 16th is tomorrow, December 15th from 4 to 5:30. We encourage you all board members to attend, but those that are required in attending are those that serve as a committee member in your planning committee. So if you're having challenges looking for, I know that one stakeholder was looking to participate. They were having a few challenges, so they emailed the department and got a response today. Since it is the last one, please don't let the frustration get to you. Reach out to me, and we can try to troubleshoot as soon as possible so you can get the link to get onto that training. And I won't go into the requirements and the resolution or in the ordinance and with the commission, but it is a requirement to now serve on your planning and land use committee. Let's see, December 16th will be a draft digital media policy for NCs information session. That's this Wednesday. So most of our neighborhood councils have a website. Most of our neighborhood councils have social media communications. This particular piece of legislation from the commission will exactly focus and address that, the digital media policy. So if you have any recommendations, any challenges, any gripes, this would be the session to listen to and give your 2 cents. December 16th from 5 to 6:30. And of course, the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, which Mr. Ray Regalado is a commissioner on, their commission will be also having that as an active agenda item to listen to folks' concerns. The department budget, I'll go through it real quick. I know you have an agenda item on that. The department is proposing to the city council and the mayor budget in the amount of $3,200,000 approximately. The department is looking to cut about 2 positions. And we are looking for an increase. They say it's an increase, but in reality, it's really trying to maintain staffing levels where they are with certain positions that are categorized. And I won't go into the technicalities because I'm not fully proficient with all the technicalities with certain categories of civil service and positions that are resolution based. They have to be approved, I believe, every year or every other year. So this year, there are certain positions that are up for consideration by the city council to get approved for the department. So that increased it compared to last year. And so really briefly on the budget process, the department proposed the department's budget to the mayor's office and the CAO. Now the mayor's office will be compiling his proposed budget by April 20th. And then after that, the city council's budget and finance committee will hear a series of hearings, including presentations by department representatives and heads on their recommendations. And then ultimately the city council will approve their budget May 2021. May 20, 2021.
Hey.
Citywide, excuse me, yes. Oh, okay. Citywide NC bylaw changes. You should have received your finalized version of your bylaws that put into the bylaws into compliance with the 2 ordinances: a minimum age to participate as a voter and to run for a seat, as well as the definition change on stakeholder as a stakeholder and community interest stakeholder. 2 distinct roles within our neighborhood councils. If you have any questions, let me know. So only the board members got the finalized draft bylaws. So we are asking our neighborhood councils to place it on the agenda to ratify, and then the next step, add it to your website. And the next Board of Neighborhood Commissioners meeting, as a reminder, is Monday, December 21st at 1 p.m. from 1 to 6 p.m. That concludes my report, unless you have any other questions.
Thank you, Octaviano. Board, any questions?
I do not see any hands up for the board or attendees at this time.
Okay. Octaviano, thank you very much. Augie, thank you very much. Scott, thank you very much for your information. I believe that concludes the elected and governmental representatives.
Is it?
All right, thank you. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Let me double check. Is there any attendee that is a public official that I don't recognize your name? Please raise your hand.
We will come back to this when Ryan shows up.
When Ryan comes. Okay, and let me just quickly, since I checked last, if there's any students that are in attendees that are listening to the meeting to get credit for school, please raise your hand so I can take note of it and notify your teachers. There's a couple of names I don't recognize. Okay, Kazi Ahmed, you're a student?
I'm in a Boy Scout troop, and I have this requirement where I have to attend a meeting and take notes.
Okay, do you need some type of confirmation?
I'm sure it would be nice if I could get some confirmation.
Okay, you can just send an email to our board. Okay, so it's look at our website. Okay, and then I will respond for you. And thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And there's no budget advocate report or budget rep.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie. So let's go over to our next agenda item. That's our first responders report. And I saw the great and illustrious Dan Brown.
Okay, I've moved him to panelist.
Dan?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Excellent. I don't have any crime stats for the last month because usually December, our crime analysts don't send the previous month's reports, but I do have the total numbers for the year-to-date crime. So I can tell you that from January until now, crime in all of Harbor area is up 2% total. That's including everything. And then
What happened?
Dan, I think you kind of floated out of here. Dan Brown, can you hear us? We can't.
Oh, there
hear
we go.
you.
Can you guys can,
Yes.
I don't know what happened. It muted me somehow. But I was just saying that we've had a small but noticeable crime increase of about 2% total and 5.5% in property crimes only. We have a challenging year ahead of us with various budget cuts. We're not going to have the same staffing level that we have had as far as our entire department is concerned. But that being said, the chief of police is trying to do the best he can at getting as many bodies on patrol as possible. So very recently, it was announced to all of us that there will be 220 officers who will be reassigned from other various entities within the department and pushed out to the geographic patrol units. So the community will feel it more. You know, as you're driving around, you should still see the same number of officers, but there's some units and specialized assignments that are just not going to exist anymore. That includes like the biggest one that got cut was our homeless outreach and proactive engagement team. That was 45 officers total. They're all getting pushed out to the geographic areas. So we're trying to do the best we can at getting officers in police cars out in the street. But moving on to back to some of the crime things that I have seen, just reading our reports, what I'm seeing, and I haven't spoken about it in a while, but it has been brought up before, and that is the theft by trickery or devices being used to basically steal from people. And I think I'm seeing it now because of the holidays coming up with Christmas time. We're starting to see a lot of scams on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, that kind of thing. And specifically with the PlayStation 5 that was just recently released, you know, I guess they've been sold out everywhere, so they're very hard to find. And there's people that are creating accounts on personal sale websites like OfferUp, Craigslist, that kind of thing, and tricking people into sending them money before they actually get the product in their hands. So that's obviously a bad idea. Push that out to your communities, to your friends and family. It's something that we see a lot with various scams, and oftentimes they target older people. There's all kinds of scams that are used, but these where it's regarding products that are not really being sold. I'm seeing younger people. The two reports that I have in front of me were for one was for the PlayStation 5. That person was 17 years old, and then one was for a dog, like a little puppy, probably also like a Christmas gift or something. And they paid money up front, and then there was no dog and nobody, and the account was deleted. So it's still going on, and it's targeting young people as well as older people. And the last thing I'll mention is our Helping Badge event, which many of you guys, if you've been in this community for a while, you've heard of. We've done it for about 12 years now here at Harbor area. And it's a great event. Obviously, the challenges of this year have made it differently. So we are transitioning to more of like a delivery event, which will take place over this entire next week. But we'll be delivering groceries as well as toys to needy families in the Harbor area. And we're just going to be delivering it directly to people's doorstep and, doing a contactless drop off basically. So if you've never donated for that, that's something for you guys to consider. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions from the board?
I do not see any hands under panelists or attendees at this time.
Oh, there's a hand that just went up. Melanie, unmute yourself.
Dan, if someone wants to donate to the badge program, how would they go about doing that?
So we have placed throughout the community at various places these big barrels that have our like our information on it, I guess. It talks about Harbor Area Helping Badge Program, and they're in Starbucks. I mean, I don't know where they put it this year. Usually the community relations officers do it, but I know the Starbucks have been doing
What if an individual wanted to do a monetary donation?
I could put, if you reach out to me, I can put you in touch with our sergeant who handles the account. There is an account that is established for all of the charitable events that LAPD Harbor Division is involved in. So if somebody reaches out to me, we can definitely make that happen.
Okay.
But if you are at Target, I know there's a barrel at Target, and if there's any Starbucks that have open lobby, I know we put them inside there, and people can just drop off a new unused toy in its package, and we end up distributing those to the families in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Armando has his hand up, Ray.
Oh, okay. Armando. Unmute yourself, Armando.
Okay.
There you go.
Officer Brown, I'd like to know how the officer who was injured at the station, is he doing better?
Are you talking about the incident from a month or two ago where that guy came in and took his gun?
Yes.
Yeah, he hasn't come back to work yet. He's kind of, I didn't know him very closely, so I haven't talked to him personally. We kind of reached out and he basically asked for just like some time. And so I don't have a personal firsthand, account to give you. I know that as far as his injuries go, he's healing up just fine. He's doing great. But as far as, and everything else is concerned, I don't know. And he hasn't come back to work yet. He originally had indicated that he wanted to come back, and now I haven't seen him, so I just don't know, how he feels about coming back. I know he had a lot of time on the job and he's eligible to retire, so perhaps he's reconsidering, but I haven't heard officially yet.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank all the officers for all their hard work, and we give them support each and every day.
I'll do that, and I'll just, on that note, I'll just say a thank you to the entire community, because this has been a challenging year for us in law enforcement. And I think I've mentioned this before, but we've had great community support here in Harbor Division. All the communities, San Pedro, Wilmington, Harbor City, Harbor Gateway, we've had tremendous support for years now with the community, and it makes a big difference for most of us coming to work. I know there's some places in the city where the support for law enforcement is just nothing like this, and it's very negative, largely. But here we have felt, the support, and it's and continued into this year, this challenging year that we've had. We've had a lot of people reach out, so I thank you guys for that.
Well, thank you, and God bless you.
Any other comments?
No, there's no hands up. I just want to, for the Boy Scout that's listening, Kazi, the email address is board@nwsanpedro.org. If you shoot me an email, then I'll confirm that you were attending the meeting for the Boy Scouts.
Okay. So we'll move on to
CPAB is dark, so there's no report.
No report. Okay, real good. Dan Brown, happy holidays to you and your family, and I hope everyone stays safe, and you stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you, everybody, and wish you all the same. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Okay. Agenda item number 6, neighborhood purpose grant recipients. Lori, I'm going to let you handle that.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Peter, could you please keep your stay on mute? Thank you for the neighborhood purpose grant recipients. We were very honored to be able to award you some funds. You're all worthy organizations, and our criteria this year was to help any groups that were helping people that were deeply affected by COVID, and all of you did. So I am one by one going through here and promoting you. two panelists so we can hear from you. So first on the list is Peter Roth from Feed and Be Fed. You can unmute. You should be able to unmute yourself. There
Thank
you go.
you. Thank you, Lori. Can you hear me?
You sure can, and
Okay.
see you.
All right. First of all, holiday greetings and best wishes to everybody there at Northwest. I'm sure as difficult as this meeting is, it's kind of a revelation for me to see everybody's face close up. So that is sort of an unintended benefit. Feed and Be Fed has been working since April with the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce, the San Pedro Faith Consortium, to establish a Harbor Neighborhood Relief Fund. We established it in April. And since that time, we have gathered donations in excess of $129,000. Some of the donations have been as large as $50,000, some as small as $5,000. And of course, your very generous neighborhood purpose grant, much appreciated. The total amount of money which we've distributed to this point is over $84,000. The bulk of that money has been in the form of $500 grants or gift cards to individuals and families in Harbor City, San Pedro, and Wilmington. Very focused. We made it very clear from the beginning that the focus of this work was to help impacted families in those three communities. We have distributed $9,000 to three different nonprofits, including Meals on Wheels and Family Promise, which helps unhoused families. We have been able to help doing the reckoning, and this is a bit of an estimate because it doesn't really factor in the size of the various families, but we've been able to help at least 170 individuals and families, mostly, incidentally, families with dependent children. That's been a priority for us. And the gift cards were delivered personally by members of our organization, with delivering also a personal message of support from our community. And I have participated from the beginning in the distribution of the cards. So I'll convey to you, the donors, the heartfelt thanks from the individuals who have received this aid. Just one other thing, the fund, there are the administrative costs, which are a minimum, have been covered by personal donations from the members of the committee running the grant. So 100% of donations ends up in the hands of the grantees. Thank you very much. And it's possible to learn about the program and to make a donation at feedandbefed.org.
Thank you, Peter. You guys got that whole program up and running very quickly. Thank you very much for being here. Next, we have Tahia Hazlett from Harbor Interfaith.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Tahia.
Hello. I want to first say thank you to the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council for your support of Harbor Interfaith. You have always been there by our side in support of us, and we appreciate that. Of course, as a result of COVID, our numbers in terms of our food pantry have increased by 25% of those who are requiring our service. And so this grant will go to support our food pantry. And so we started with the Thanksgiving holiday. We did distribute 291 holiday baskets, and that was the turkey and all trimmings along, and that fed 802 individuals. But outside of our food pantry, the agency's been around for 45 years. And so as you know, we are the lead service provider for homeless services, and we coordinate all of the services for homeless individuals, as well as families, as well as youth. This year, shortly after COVID hit, we opened up 2 shelters, one an interim housing site that serves 40 and another 100-bed shelter that's here in San Pedro. In addition, we were the operator of one of the Project Room Key sites, so we have been really busy. Our staff have been out on the streets, of course, addressing the needs of those who are homeless to ensure that the spread of COVID does not exist among the homeless population. But again, this grant was in support of our food pantry. That's how we originally got our start. It's a 3-day supply of groceries over the course of 3 days. That's where we saw a significant increase in terms of 25%, and we appreciate the Neighborhood Council funds going to support our efforts. And just on a side note, I see Kelly. Is this Kelly who, I just want to say hi, Kelly. Of course, we have a history, so I wanted to say hi as well.
It's so great to see you. Oh my gosh. You pop in spots all the time. It's so great to see you. Are you still down at the office on sorry, on 9th Street?
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna have to call you and we'll have to get together.
Okay. But thank you again for all that you do for Harbor Interfaith. We are gearing up for our Christmas distribution that will happen next week. We are looking to provide a holiday meal for 350 families along with toys for their children. And so again, thank you for your contribution towards our overall effort to address the needs of those within our community.
Thank you so much. Glad you could be here with us tonight. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to turn my phone off here. Okay, next we have Susan McKenna, who's here to talk for Meals on Wheels.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Yeah. First of all, a huge, I'm Susan McKenna. I'm Vice President of San Pedro Meals on Wheels. First of all, a huge thank you from San Pedro Meals on Wheels for critical support through the Neighborhood Purpose Grant. Your support means the world to us and makes a big difference. You know, yes, what a year 2020 has been. After serving meals in the community for 48 years, COVID pushed us to the front lines. And while a lot of organizations or businesses closed, we ended up expanding from, weirdly, a historic low of 30 meals to over 90 clients a day. As of August, over half of them are sponsored and free for our clients. With this expansion, now we have 3 delivery routes. Each route now means 10 to 12 extra volunteers a week. So our whole organization has had to ramp up in an extraordinary fashion. And on top of that, we also partnered with our landlord, the United Methodist, to feed those in need at the mobile shower program, and worked with Council District 15 to provide meals. So with your support, we can provide 2 nourishing meals a day to people who can't cook, can't drive, shop, or leave their homes, or people who are affected by COVID. And as you know, for most of our clients, we are the only human contact they have. I just did a route this week as a runner, and after not doing that for quite a while, and as I look at the incredible people ahead of me and the work they do, and it's confronting and amazing. And just 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you saw it in social media, but our delivery people saved the life of a person. So yeah. I also want to thank, not only when I look at the other people that are receiving the neighborhood purpose grants, but people who work hard for Neighborhood Council and work for our community. Thank you so much. And We thank you again for your support and wish you all the best in this time. Thanks so much from San Pedro Meals on Wheels. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much too. And I have to tell you that in October, I had the chance to be a runner, to be in the car with Chris Brust for a delivery day. And I got to help prepare the food too with Mike. And I have to tell you, it's an amazing operation, especially since you've had to ramp up for so many more meals. It was very impressive. And we also know that one of your members has come down with COVID. So our best to her. Okay.
Yes.
For us.
Thank you. Just as we were stretched to our logistical limits, that happened. Fingers crossed, prayers.
But I just wanted to
thank you so much, Lori.
No problem. It was an amazing experience. If I can get the time off, I'd like to do it again.
I have to say, given how 2020 has been, because of our positive COVID situation that happened, I was there, and once again, you come home and you feel incredibly grateful for the life that you have when you spend the day and looking at these people who really need us. So thank you. Thanks, Laurie.
Good work. Fantastic. Next, we have Tatiana Dorman from Rainbow Services. I think I promoted her. Are you there?
Here.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hello. Hello, board and fellow community members. I want to thank you very much for inviting Rainbow Services this evening. It's really nice to see so many people from the community and fellow grant recipients. It's really also heartwarming to see the very, very good work that is being done here in our community. I know that a lot of you don't know me, so I will start by introducing myself. My name is Tatiana Dorman, and I am the Director of Communications and Fund Development at Rainbow Services. Rainbow Services is located here in the beautiful city of San Pedro. We have been providing help and hope to survivors of domestic violence since 1984. Starting as an emergency shelter, we have grown immensely over the years to now provide comprehensive services to survivors of domestic violence and their children. Our services includes, of course, emergency shelter, crisis intervention, counseling, case management, support groups, children's programs, transitional housing, and our newest program, community housing. This program has had a tremendous impact as it helps survivors locate and sustain safe and independent housing. All of those who come through our doors have experienced domestic violence at some point in their lifetime. The vast majority of those we serve struggle financially, and approximately 95% live at or below the federal poverty level. Our families bravely face many challenges head on, including housing insecurity. Just to let you all know, we are serving as one of the 9 Project Safe Haven sites in the county. And to date, we have safely housed 69 adults and 58 children through this emergency response housing program. With that said, giving gifts during the holiday is not possible for most of our families, and that's why we are so thrilled and very honored to receive a Neighborhood Purpose Grant. And in a meeting today with our team, I was so excited to share and talk about how we were going to support our families through the funding we receive from you all. We will be able to give them gift cards so that they can purchase special items that they are most in need of at this moment. And your support supports one of the guiding principles of our work, which is to give each and every survivor voice and choice. Thanks to you and your generous and thoughtful contribution, our families will be able to select items that are most meaningful to them. And that is just so incredible. Thank you so much. So sorry, I'm almost done. And I just want to say again, thank you so much from everyone at Rainbow Services, and we wish you all a very happy and safe holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the work you do is amazing. And we do realize that domestic violence has increased with the stay-at-home orders. So bless you for the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see, next, there's a Jennifer, and I'm going to assume that's Jennifer Sullivan from the YMCA.
That's right. That's me.
Okay. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. I forgot I have my Disney background as my backdrop.
That's cool.
I just want to thank the Northwest Neighborhood or San Pedro Neighborhood Council for your support of our grab and go, or what we are now calling our Feed LA program. Our meal program started in March, and since that time has provided over 150,000 meals with over 100 unique volunteers supporting our program. Every week we provide roughly 4,000 meals to children, families, seniors, and our unsheltered population. The meals are served on Tuesdays and Thursdays each week, starting at 9 a.m. And due to the need, we are typically done serving all of our meals by 9:45. That's how quickly people come and get the meals. The council, through your amazing, generous donation, is going to help us provide actually 5 meals on Tuesday, 12/22, and again on 12/29. So since we will be closed on the Thursdays, we will be distributing 5 meals to those families that are in need on those 2 days, those 2 Tuesdays. The meals roughly cost between $3.75 to $4.25 a meal. And we have been able to increase our daily meal distribution from 375 meals per meal. So we do 2 breakfasts on Tuesdays and 2 lunches on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays, we do 3 breakfasts and 3 lunch. So we've been able to increase that to 400 total per unit. As a request, though, we would like to receive, if we can get a logo to utilize from the group, the council, so that we can actually add you to a banner that we're going to have posted outside of our facility to acknowledge all the generous contributions we've received over the last 7 months, 8 months since we started doing this program. But the council, we really appreciate your support. You've been a great proponent of course, the neighborhood at San Pedro, and in particular the YMCA. So we really appreciate your support. And just as a Thursday, we will be offering free COVID testing. So if you do want to get COVID tested, there's a sign up, but they also are taking walk-ups, and that's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I just made a note to send you our logo, and I am signed up to do the COVID testing on Thursday, and we have promoted it on both our e-newsletter and on our Facebook page. So
awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last but never least, I had the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. I had a note that Adrienne Mohan was going to speak. I don't see her here. I'm wondering if Alan Franz is speaking for that group.
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Well, thank you, Lori. And if I may, I'd like to begin just by expressing my admiration for the various organizations that have been recognized this evening, all of whom make critical contributions to the well-being of our community. San Pedro is really fortunate to have so many voluntary organizations and so many volunteers. And I would hasten to underscore that that includes all the participants, the regular seat holders in the neighborhood councils. So our gratitude to the neighborhood councils and to all the other volunteers that make San Pedro a better place in various ways. The grant that I'm thanking you for this evening is in support of our education program. We have a fourth grade education program, 3rd grade, that's been in San Pedro for about 25 years now. And that approaches environmental education, which I think more and more people are recognizing is very important to us. But we provide a program in all the schools in San Pedro that bases environmental education in their local experience with the plants and animals and their interactions, the ecology of open spaces in San Pedro. So that gives them a good foundation. And we've actually had grown-ups come back to us who were in the program 20 years ago and say how it changed the way they look at the world, understand what's going on around them. In addition to the education program, which we've had to realign because of the pandemic, because previously we taught it face-to-face and at natural sites around San Pedro. Now we have to do it digitally, remotely. So this grant helps us develop the programming facilities, the outreach materials to be able to continue to provide a locally based environmental education program in Northwest San Pedro and beyond. We also have been in Northwest San Pedro for over 25 years with our native plant nursery. And I would like to make mention that if you go to the Land Conservancy's website, which is pvplc.org, for Palos Verdes Peninsula, landconservancy.org, we grow tens of thousands of native plants every year. And we are setting up a program where local people can contact our office and can purchase native plants online. And some of you may know the benefits in terms of both having plants that need very little water or other maintenance, that are adapted to the soil and the climate we have here, that don't need extensive watering the way lawns and other unnatural landscapes do. So we want to encourage people to consider investing in native plants as we continue in a drought year. We also do operate the Nature Education Center and Nature Preserve at White Point, and we welcome people to come down. The Nature Education Center, unfortunately, is closed because of the pandemic, but the open space there, it's 102 acres. It's a great place to take a walk and get a little exercise and enjoy the views along the coast. So come on down. Again, in closing, let me thank the Neighborhood Council for its support for the Land Conservancy and for all the third graders in Northwest San Pedro and beyond to benefit from the program.
Thank you, Alan. And let me just say, I want everybody to notice the collaboration between all the groups that we've just recognized, working with each other. Meals on Wheels delivering to Feed and Be Fed and Harbor Interfaith and YMCA, all of the collaboration, everybody having the same goal to help people in need right now. Ray, that is it for the NPG grants. I have moved Allison Becker over to a panelist. If you can make her a co-host, then you can introduce her and let her share the screen.
So yeah, thank you all to all the organizations and the representatives for being here tonight, and good luck in the new year, and good luck with all the work that you're doing, the great work. Thank you for supporting our community, and happy holidays to all of you. So we're going to move on to agenda item number 7. I also see that Ryan is has landed. Oh,
okay. Do you want to do that first?
I'm wondering, Allison, with your permission, can we go ahead and let Ryan give his report?
Hi, everyone. Of course, that's fine. Ryan, take it away.
Hello, Ryan.
Sorry, actually, Allison, if you don't mind, I'll let you go first since you've been waiting. I do apologize for being late, everybody, but I'll let Allison go first. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my gosh, always the gentleman. Thank you, Ryan. I'll be brief so that you can get on with your evening as well.
Okay, Allison, I just made you co-host.
Let's see. It says I've been disabled from, let's see.
Check it again.
Okay. No, let's see. Let's try again.
I see you there, Allison.
Yeah, we see you.
This will stop others. Okay, let's continue.
Oh, Cheryl, do you need to stop sharing your screen? There we go. Now you should be able to do it, Allison.
Okay, let's do that.
I see some emails there. You want to just go through your emails and we'll help
I
you
know,
out?
let's just do that, right? Okay, here we go. This was the one I was looking for. Perfect. Okay, can everyone else see that too? No?
No, we see
your
your
email.
Sharing has paused. Bring your sharing. New share. Bring it to the front, it says. No.
All I can see is emails.
There you go. It's up.
Hey,
It's up. Yes, we can.
Oh, good. Okay, so it should say Housing Solutions CD15 Action Plan. And I'll just take a minute here to say thank you so much for giving me about 10 minutes to share with you this plan that we've been working on. It's been quite some time since I've had the pleasure of presenting to you all, and so it's nice to see your faces, even if we're not in person. And maybe this is the 7th inning stretch, you know, kind of right in the middle of your meeting, and I'll just kind of run through some of the things we've been thinking about over the last couple of months as we've been kind of managing, you know, an extreme housing crisis during COVID, and how our approach to addressing homelessness has been shaping up as a result of all of this time to think about it. And, you know, I mean, basically the whole, you know, you have to start with the why, right? Why do we focus on this? Besides just why it's so important. I mean, fundamentally, government is about improving people's lives in various different ways. And it's really important to recognize that everyone's journey is going to be unique and different. And so as a city, as a community, you know, as a region, we really need to build maximum flexibility into our approaches to addressing homelessness. You know, a perfect homelessness response system is never going to capture 100% of the folks that are experiencing homelessness or residing on our streets and sidewalks. But we need to do a better job of addressing the majority. And so, you know, kind of the 60% number is the rule of thumb that we've been using in our planning exercise to try and build a system that can at any point in time accommodate approximately 60% of our population. Again, district-wide. The approach that the city of Los Angeles is taking is that each district is going to be kind of trying to do micro planning, taking the regional view that has been customary from the county standpoint and really taking it down to the microclimates, as I like to say, and make sure that in the harbor area communities, for example, that we have a fully functioning system, nuts to bolts, that will address 60% of the folks in the harbor area. Same with the Harbor Gateway, same with Greater Watts. So just the one point here with this graph is that you'll see that the complexion of the unsheltered varies greatly, right? We have everything from folks that are completely unsheltered to folks that are living in tents, RVs, cars, makeshift shelters, and the approach that we need to build is going to provide support for folks in all of those categories. So, you know, the foundational kind of element for us was the establishment of a navigation center. I'm sure all of you remember the early work that that was done now, you know, what, 5 years ago, that really sparked a concerted effort to find solutions to homelessness in San Pedro. The Navigation Center is simply a drop-in location where folks can store their stuff. It's safe. It's the, you know, potentially the first point of entry for someone who's looking for basic services. In our case, this is located at the Harbor Division Complex on John Gibson. Volunteers for America is our service provider. And we're generally running 90–95% full for storage units in this facility, which has been open not even a year. So we're definitely taking that as a signal that there is need, and that that's a big first success. The second kind of level of support that we're planning for is safe parking, right? Folks who basically they may still have a job, but they lost their apartment. And they need a safe place and a place to clean up, and you know, that kind of stability is very important. So we have one initial site that was set up last year. It's in Watts. Our service provider is WLCAC. In the coming year, 2021, we're going to test 2 additional sites. One in San Pedro at the city parking lot where by our office. And then the other is in the Harbor Gateway at a site that's owned and operated by HACLA. It's by day, it's an office location for HACLA. By night, it'll offer safe parking for homeless neighbors. 25 to 30 spaces each. We are in talks with Caltrans about a couple of additional sites, at least one additional site, I should say. But Caltrans at this point is waiting for the new administration to get their sea legs before you know, bringing these forward through federal approvals. There's a long story to why that needs to happen, but just put a pin in that. I'm happy to answer that question later. The next level, obviously, a bridge home. I mean, we all have spent several years now working towards the opening of 3 bridge home sites in the district. The councilman in his 2018 State of the District speech was very clear that we wanted to be even-handed with our kind of support for homeless residents across the district, and that making a commitment to just one ABH was not going to be sufficient given the need and the unique geographic, you know, nature of the 15th Council District. So we now have 3 up and running. We also have one more with a slightly different program model that is currently being designed and bid out. It's for what we're calling a tiny home village at Harbor Park in Wilmington/Harbor City. That'll be 75 tiny homes. We're expecting that project to be placed in service by early April of 2021. Everyone may know of the Project Home Key program, which was funded by the county and the state. We have one site, which we are at this point expecting to be extended past the end of this calendar year. It's in San Pedro at the Sunrise Hotel. The Salvation Army is our operator. That site has been pretty successful. So we're glad to see working in partnership with the supervisor's office for that opportunity to be extended. And the city was successful in receiving an award from the state to advance this program model further in the district through the acquisition of a Travelodge site in the Harbor Gateway. It's a 40 unit hotel, 40 room hotel. The way this program is going to be working is the first several years, it'll be run as kind of an interim, a bridge housing site, and then it will convert to permanent supportive housing. There's a second site that just, for full disclosure, is technically in the county. But it is within just right outside the district, and certainly will be serving homeless residents in our area. It's a Motel 6, and there'll be an additional 50, I can't exactly see the number there, 50 some odd units that'll be added to our portfolio from that site. Service providers, the service provider community that is really the local experts in homelessness response is very committed to the idea of rapid rehousing. This is geared towards folks who can live on their own and just need a kind of help up, let's say, for a discrete period of time in order to help them get back on their feet. And so rapid rehousing is a program that comes in the form of a special voucher. It relies on the participation of private landlords across the county who work in conjunction with LAHSA to house folks through this program. We've committed 200 beds, to be a part of our homelessness response plan, and are actively working with LAHSA to kind of build an accountability framework around this program for our district. Kind of moving into the final phase for long-term housing stability. For a lot of folks, that's going to mean permanent supportive housing. That's going to be an apartment building that is fully secure, that has a lot of community kind of supporting amenities, including on-site case management, case workers, easy access to healthcare. We at this point are super excited to have 13 projects that are in our pipeline across the district. We'll have close to 650 units of permanent supportive housing at the end of the tunnel. And those all should be coming online, or actually beginning construction, I should say, within the next 2 years. In terms of plain vanilla affordable housing, this is, in the old days, this was all we did. Now it's actually hard to come by because all of the financing sources that are used to support subsidized housing have been weighted in support of permanent supportive housing. And yet we have a few projects that will be underway coming in the new year, including one in San Pedro and several in Watts, another 4 projects, almost 400 units. These are folks that are kind of in the 60 to 80% AMI area median income range. And then this last category, I just, again, thank you all so much for your support of the good planning that we did a few years ago through the San Pedro Community Plan update. That effort really stimulated interest in the greater San Pedro community, particularly in the downtown area. And using the base zoning plus the state's density bonus program, we have as many as 140 units of otherwise unsubsidized affordable housing that will be coming online as a result of those market rate developments. So it really is, I know it can be a controversial subject as folks are kind of getting more familiar with kind of how to evaluate projects when they vary from height or density. But we're really seeing a positive response from the market. And when it comes with 77 low-income units, 58 very low-income units, and 5 extremely low-income units that would otherwise cost the city, $500,000 a piece, you can really see how the city is weighing the public benefit of the state's density bonus program. And so, I know as a general rule, you all have been very supportive of projects moving forward in the last several years. And so I express our gratitude for that. So, here are our numbers. We're doing really, really well. We're basically, I think, the only council office, to my knowledge, that is kind of working this deliberately to both create a varied system and then also kind of, share the plan with our constituents. And again, we deeply, deeply appreciate your support and continued engagement in our efforts to address homelessness in the district. And here, because Gabby's not here to correct me, I'm gonna ask you all to send your questions to her. Although, of course, you know where to find me as well. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Allison. Ray, I have my hand up.
Okay, I see your hand up.
So Allison, I just want clarification that the project room key at the Sunrise, you said will be extended. So I'm wondering how long and what the target date is for the safe parking in San Pedro.
So I'm going to say, let's, because we're talking in bureaucratic time, I'm going to say before the end of first quarter for 2021 for safe parking. We're like literally, it's been through all of the council approvals. They're doing final contracting with LASA, but we don't have direct, engagement there on the contracting side. And then certainly once that contract has been put in place, the city family will need time to kind of raise awareness with our staff that's currently there and kind of moving things around. But it's first quarter 2021 is a good estimate. With regards to Sunrise, I wish the supervisor's office was on. All I have heard, we've been working directly with Erica and Ivan. They are very aware of the site and very interested in extending it and kind of have made that kind of general commitment. But to the extent to how long, that's I think that's still being discussed by the Board of Supervisors based on their available resources.
Okay, but so I'll keep in touch with you, but that's extended as a project room key, not a project home key.
Correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, I see an additional hand. Oh, I see a hand in the attendees. Any other quick questions from our board members?
There's nothing on our board members, but Joanna showed up here. So Joanna Rodriguez. So I'm not sure if she had a question for Allison or she just wanted to, we'll go back to as public officials. Joanna?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I know. Hi, Allison, by the way. I was just just making sure that you guys knew I was here because I wanted to give you guys a quick update.
Okay, so we'll go to you after we're I don't see any hands from our board or attendees at this time. Allison, you must have done a really comprehensive good job.
Okay, well, it's my pleasure again. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present. If there are any questions, again, please feel free to outreach to me, to Ryan, to Gabby. And again, we're all in. We appreciate your support and, have a great holiday. I'm really looking forward to 2021.
Allison, I think there's a whole bunch of people looking forward to 2021. Thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays and good health. Thank you. So we're gonna kind of take a little step back and talk to a couple recent attendees from our elected official representatives. So we have Ryan on there, Ryan, and then we'll go to Joanna if there is no problem with that. I'm only taking in the time that the person who got here first. So Ryan, you're up. Unmute yourself.
Perfect.
Ryan.
Thank you, Ray. Sorry. New keyboard, kind of a little bit different placement here for my keys, so pardon me. And again, I do apologize to the board and everyone for being late, but I had something that I needed my immediate and full attention. But I'm glad I was able to make it. So again, sorry for the last minute notice, Ray. I hate doing that, but
no problem.
Just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up. I don't have a whole for the board tonight, but nonetheless, it's actually quite important. As it affects not San Pedro, but the entire harbor area community. Last Tuesday, the Budget and Finance Committee and the City Council considered what's named the second financial status report for the current fiscal year 2020-2021. As it stands right now, in this moment in time, the pandemic-related budget gap is about $5 billion. To combat that loss, the city administrative officer suggested a citywide 3% budget reduction. That's all departments across the board, in addition to deferring or canceling capital projects and preparation for the elimination of 1,900 filled positions in the city of Los Angeles. Some of these proposed layoffs include 728 civilian and 950 sworn positions in the Los Angeles Police Department, 140 positions in the city attorney's office, 45 positions in animal services, and 27 positions in the Bureau of Engineering. However, discussions are currently underway about expanding the city's furlough program, furlough days, etc. And what this means is, if you haven't heard already, after fighting for over 7 years and working in hand with the communities of the harbor area to get the harbor division open. Unfortunately, the jail will be closed again. I don't have a date on when that is set to happen, but just please be prepared for that. I don't know if this will affect we're hopeful that it won't, but as soon as we get actual information, we'll definitely keep our neighborhood councils and our district apprised of any new developments, again, as they arise. So, with that being said, I do want to thank everybody that attended Ali's city council meetings and spoke on behalf of the harbor area communities and advocated for additional public safety resources and just basically put themselves out to help us. We couldn't have done it without the support of communities. For the record, when this came to city council, Councilman Buscaino looked at, exploring different options with Councilmember Koretz that would not include layoffs to the police department. However, that amending motion was voted down and it did not pass. So he did vote against the proposed layoffs for the Los Angeles Police Department. And that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you, Ryan. I see a hand up with Lori there, but I'm going to take the advantage and ask kind of not necessarily a question, but perhaps maybe a piece where we could take a look at an issue that seems to be kind of bothering some individuals in our community. Ryan, I'd like to be able to perhaps maybe talk with you or with the CD15 and perhaps the Port of Los Angeles to talk about the under the freeway skate park. It has come to very much some disrepair, a lot of graffiti, and up until about a week and a half or so ago, there was a lot of trash strewn all over the place. And I really appreciate the cleanup that occurred right after the piece that happened. So perhaps maybe we could talk a little bit about some long-term remedies to those things there. So I just kind of want to put that bug in your ear, if that's okay. And I saw Lori's hand go up first, but John, is that something you want to say about this particular subject? I know you and I have talked quite a bit about it.
Yeah, I'm working on it with, matter of fact, as soon as Dan's done talking with our issues and motions, I have a little response from Axel that I can, Ryan's really out of it. He turned me on to Axel. So Axel and I have been working on this.
I understand.
So I have an update on that, and Axel's emailed me today.
Okay, cool, great, thank you.
Thanks again, Ryan, for that, by the way.
Lori, you had your hand up?
I did, and I'm thinking now, I'm not sure if my question is best for Ryan or for Joanna. And so Ryan was talking about the city budget, so that's why I thought about it. And I've read the mayor's request for departments to put in for a 3% decrease on budgets. But still hearing the numbers you talk about on the amount of people who are going to be furloughed or laid off is just frightening. And so I know that existing employees have contracts where they're required with the unions, I guess, to get a certain cost of living raise. Is there any way that the city, the mayor, the city council can look at some of these contracts and ask that these cost of living raises be held this year in hopes that it could save some people's jobs? I know that's a crazy ask. I see Dan shaking his head. So I don't know, is that doable? And Ryan, is that a better question for Joanna?
I can address that. And I'm sure Joanna can as well. I know as President Pro Tem of the City Council, Councilman Buscaino is now on the Executive Employees Relations Committee, which is council leadership and the mayor basically. And they've negotiated with a lot of the city unions. The only city union that has not at the table is the Police Protective League, as they're adamantly opposed to layoffs and deferring cost of living adjustments. Other city unions are coming to the table and discussing this, but we are trying to do everything in our power to, minimize layoffs our city workforce, our already aging city workforce. And so, it's not a crazy ask. We're in much different times these days, and again, trying everything we can to minimize the impacts of the pandemic is what's on pretty much everybody's minds, so that we're not losing our already aging workforce. That's what I have so far. Joanna, if you have anything else, feel free to chime in.
No, thanks, Brian. You hit it on the thought. There's definitely a lot of conversations that the mayor's having with different unions, and like Ryan did mention, fortunately, some of the conversations kind of they reached kind of like a wall with the police union. But I mean, the mayor continues to have those conversations and will continue to have those conversations with different unions. So I can definitely update you all if there's like any updates on that end. But Ryan, you said it all. You said it best. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Any other questions for Ryan?
Melanie has her hand up.
Melanie.
Hey, Ryan.
Sorry, hey Melanie, what's up? Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
So I just need a clarification on the 900. I watched Joe's video. I mean, I watched him when he was in neighborhood council on the meeting speaking, and he did a very good job trying to make recommendations about the 900 sworn police officers losing their jobs. When that vote took place, now it was my understanding that it's not completely final yet. And it is a done deal?
No, it is not a done deal. I mean, the report that I have, it's just, preparation for the potential elimination of 1,900 positions.
Because the reason I'm asking is for public safety, we're going to do a community impact statement on this because it's wrong. Public safety needs to be foremost in our area. I mean, public
Absolutely.
safety doesn't need to be thrown under the bus. And I'm very forefront about this. We can't sacrifice public safety at this point for a budget. There's other things that can be adjusted. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And that was one of, the councilman's positions is, in a time where, public safety resources are, already limited, cutting only have detrimental effects, to the safety and well-being of the residents of the city. I mean, we're seeing, effects of, the residual effect of what's happening in other cities across the country that have made cuts to their law enforcement departments or abolished them completely, and it has not been good.
No, exactly.
Go.
Alrighty, thank you, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
John DeMeglio, I wasn't sure if you were asking to say something to Ryan or you were just adjusting your camera. Did you want to ask Ryan a question?
Have my hand up or anything, no. Oh, I was just had my hand in front of the screen.
I see. I got you. Okay. Dan, I see your hand moving around. You're good? Okay. I saw the hand say, Ray, move on. Okay.
No, I was just, John had the right idea. He was adjusting something.
Okay.
That's what I was doing.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. So any of the attendees question for Ryan?
No, we don't. And we're a little behind schedule, but just keeping you apprised.
Thank you. Joanna, you're up.
Hello, everyone. So I'm so sorry I was late, but I did want to make sure that I at least came to give you guys a quick update on just COVID. So just really quickly, because I did get a couple of calls from folks in San Pedro asking about the different orders at the county, then the city, then the state issued. So just so we're all on the same page on what is open and what is not, and why we're under this like statewide stay-at-home order. So about 2 weeks ago, the governor issued an announcement and basically said if the capacity for our the capacity for our ICUs, our intensive care units, dropped under 15%, that the statewide order, safer at home order, would take effect, and it did. So about 2 weeks ago, our ICUs levels, I want to say, fell under 13%. As of last Friday, they fell under 7. I think it was like a 7.5% capacity. So we are under this, what the governor is calling a regional stay-at-home order. And this is in part because he wants to make sure that our hospitals are not overwhelmed. So what are sectors that closed and to remain closed are bars, wineries, personal services, indoor worship, hair salons, and other non-essential services. And then for sectors that are allowed to open or continue open, and this is again with some additional modifications to, just making sure that everyone is wearing masks at all times and that they're social distancing. Some of those sectors include critical infrastructure. Unlike our order back in March, this specific order does allow for businesses to remain open, but it has to be at a 20% capacity. And it also allows for outdoor worship, and also, of course, our restaurants for takeout and delivery. We did have an emergency relief for food service workers, and I sent that email to some of our board members here. But basically, it was a one-time $800 fee. I'm sorry, $800 one-time check for food service workers to help them because they are being impacted, as you all know. And that was in collaboration with the city and also the mayor's fund. But this specific fund were to help roughly about 4,000 local food service workers. So that application just closed last Friday. I know we were pushing it out. I made sure to send it out to all of our neighborhood councils, including Northwestern, and just wanted to kind of give you just that quick update. We are trying to send out checks, hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, so I will keep you guys updated on that. And then I've been really, as your representative for the Harbor and also the Watts area, been pushing for a lot of testing our mobile units to come and do testing in our communities. So just kind of to give you guys some content, we have 5 mobile units that are going from community to community in the city of LA. And I want to say about a week ago, I sent out an email, and it's basically a graph of what our positivity rates are in the city of LA. So right now, our highest positivity rate that we're seeing is in the Valley, both East and West Valley, and they're at a 50% rate, and South LA is at a 20% positivity rate, and in the Harbor we were at a 4%. Nonetheless, I still wanted to make sure that we brought our mobile unit here in the Harbor. So last month, we were in Wilmington, I want to say about 4 or 5 days. And we were specifically making sure that we were there during the weekends, because we do have in the Harbor, we do have a permanent testing site, and that's located in Wilmington. That's with Providence. I'm happy to resend some information to Ray and to Lori so they can send it out to folks. But for those folks that don't know, there is that permanent site available, and it's they're doing testing Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, that's not our mobile unit. So I've been in talks with the chamber and a couple of our nonprofits regarding bringing our mobile unit to San Pedro. So I do have some good news. We'll be in San Pedro on Thursday the 17th. And it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the YMCA. And give me one second. There's like 2 YMCAs. This is the YMCA in Bandini.
The YMCA was on earlier and already announced everything. And
perfect.
And we've already announced it on Facebook and on our page. So I just thought I'd let you know.
No, thank you, Lori. So just really quick on that. We do, if you guys go into our website, we cap it at 500. But let's say, even if it's at full capacity and all the slots have been taken, people can still do walk-ins. You don't necessarily have to set up an appointment. My goal is to get 1,000 at least, because I know that it's been something that was highly requested from a couple of our nonprofits in our chamber. So just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up on that. So with that, I'm happy to answer any question. I guess really quickly, just today we had a little bit over 7,300 cases of COVID in the county of LA. In San Pedro, we have a little bit over 3,100 cases in San Pedro, and that includes our numbers in Terminal Island. So we are breaking daily records almost on a daily. People, when they think daily records, they think it's a good thing. Unfortunately, it's not. And then there is a vaccine. LAX, we received some vaccine, but there are our medical and nursing homes are going to be prioritized. And we're not looking that it's not going to be available for the public until probably 4 to 6 months from now. So it's still, the safer at home, the wearing of the mask and social distancing is going to stick around for a couple more months. So I do want to just kind of just share with you all, as you are working with your networks and your neighbors and your community, that you let them know that it's going to be some time before that vaccine's available for all of us.
Thank you, Joanna. We do have a hand that's raised. Dan?
Thank you. Hi, Joanna. Ryan answered this question sort of for me the other day very well, but I'm still confused. Can you tell me about the status of parks, city parks? I realize they're partly open. What about playground equipment? Do you happen to know?
No, thank you. And I think I know Ryan had emailed me and I sent him some information. Unfortunately, our playgrounds are they are closed. Let me 1 second. I can double check because I am pretty sure
they reopened them.
Okay.
The-
There
the
was
chi- yeah.
I know that there were Brian, there's so many things, so I'm so sorry. But I know
No,
I sent a link to the county's recent news news release, and it gave some information about the playground. So if you got that information, if you got from Ryan and he said like the playgrounds are open, then they are open.
No,
And it's
no,
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
not blaming.
It's really
I'm not-
confusing myself. Mhm.
I'm not blaming Ryan for any of this.
Oh, no.
It's confusing. The crime scene tape at the playground equipment in our park is down. The cheerful yellow tape is down, and that led me to believe, well, that is open. But with the recent surge and the re-lockdown of certain things, it's hard to know. And I've got little neighbor kids, including my grandson, demanding to know answers.
No, and I'm looking it up as we speak because I do want to make sure I give you guys like the most updated San Pedro. Give me 1 second. So while this loads, I will make sure to get back to you on that. Hold up, I think it just loaded.
Can I ask a quick question while you're looking that up?
Of course.
Has parking enforcement been suspended again?
Unfortunately, it has not.
I thought not, but someone today told me that, and I was like, oh, I think you're darling. Thank you.
If only.
No, it's not. I know we've been getting a lot of mixed feelings from residents. You know, on one hand, you know, people are not working as much. So we've been getting some calls asking for it to be, for us to kind of hold back again. But on the other hand, we're also looking at a sanitation problem. We were seeing our streets that were getting dirty. So it's also like that balancing. So as of right now, as it stands, as October 15, it has, you know, we've had street sweeping back, and I mean, I just had my staff meeting, and that doesn't seem like we're going to be canceling it, like stopping that anytime soon. Give me 1 second. So as of, yeah, so all of our playgrounds are closed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in the chat, I don't know if I have access to the chat. But if I do, I'm going to include this link in the chat so folks can, okay, I don't have access to it. Ray, Lori, can I send you the link to the news release so you can send it to folks? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, any other questions? I'm looking at the time, so I'm gonna make sure that we try to get everybody out of here by 9. Okay, I think we're okay. Ryan, Joanna, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And I see a hand up, Melanie.
Yeah, Joanna, I was notified by LA County that they reopened the park, and then Rec and Park came out, took the tape off. And then I confirmed with Officer Dan Brown that the park was open, the playground equipment was open again when I saw people taking the tape down.
So
I don't know, there's a lot of confusion. And the thing with the parking enforcement, I was told that parking enforcement was shut down again.
No, so I can tell you for a fact that parking enforcement is still, it's something we haven't, that it's still happening. In terms of the playground, I have this, unless something changed as of the 5th, which was last week, or I'm so sorry, getting my days. Yeah, as of December 5th, the playgrounds have been closed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, after this call, I'm going to do some more digging in the county. But I know that on December 5th, the Public Health Department did release.
Yeah, I think it's been after the 5th, though. It's been more recent.
Okay, I'll double check, and I'm gonna make sure I send it to both Lori and Ray.
Okay.
That way they can share with Dan. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie.
All right, so Joanna, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. We'll be watching out for the update, and we'll get it sent out.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays to you too, and all of you stay safe, please. See you all later. And so let's go down to our next agenda item, which is our consent calendar. We have 3 items on there: the approval of November minutes, an approval of a letter regarding the beautification of the terminus of the 110 freeway and Gaffey. And the 3rd item is to reaffirm the membership of the Planning and Land Use Committee, which is as follows: Diana Nave, Linda Alexander, Rock Ashfield, Charlotte Bell, Peter Burmeister, Chuck Hart, Jason Herring, Jen King, Pat Nave, and Alexander Norman. Unless I hear differently, if anyone wants to take anything out of the consent calendar, can I get a motion? I see a hand up. Melanie.
I move.
And second?
Second.
Was that John that I heard?
Yes.
John B. Okay. All right. Any discussion? No. Cheryl, would you like to take vote count?
Yes, please. Rock,
Yes.
Armando. I'll come back to Armando. John Barbera,
Yes.
Mary,
He's giving you the thumbs up.
okay, sorry, I can't look at the screen and my vote roster. Adrianita,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
John DeMaglio,
I'm gonna stay.
Dan,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jan. I'll come back to Jan. Melanie,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Armando. Consider him out of the room. Jan. I'll consider her out of the room. Motion passed.
Motion passes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Board of Neighborhood Commissioners meeting, item number 9. I'll let's say that the focus or one of the areas that was more prevalent was talking a little bit about the digital new media, digital media piece, that we really want to be able to take a look at that for those of you who would want to and make a comment. You heard Octaviano indicate that there's going to be a meeting, a hearing. I say what? I heard someone say something.
I think that was Jan voting yes.
Oh, okay. So when the date comes up, for those of you who would like to make verbal comments, please attend that. It's an important thing for some people. Others, they feel that it's fine, but you have an opportunity to read, comment, and I want to make sure that you all have that opportunity to consider that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that as is with the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners and the Hank meeting. There was no Hank meeting for agenda item number 10, so we're going to move on. So now we're down to committee reports, and we will start off with the executive committee, and I'm going to let Lori talk about item number 1, or the first item under the executive committee, and that is a motion regarding the Empower LA budget, proposed budget. So,
Cheryl,
Lori?
are you able to pull this up on the screen?
Yes, I can. Hang on.
Okay.
Well,
this is posted, so I'm going to assume everybody on our board read the motion. Okay, so basically this is addressing the budget issue, and you heard earlier Ryan state that the mayor has requested a 3% decrease by departments for their recommended budget for the next fiscal year. However,
You have to go.
the Department of Neighbor Empowerment General Manager included in our profile that she was asking for a 15.1% increase. Okay. Let me say that since I made this motion and we discussed it at the executive board, this one paragraph that the general manager provided, it turns out she had a backup of a document that was 71 pages long, explaining all of her budget adjustments. I did not have knowledge of that at the time. So for now, basically what we're saying here is that we're asking the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, okay, to adhere to the mayor's recommendation, okay. We do not feel that the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment necessarily represents an essential service, as Melanie was talking about earlier. Essential services are public safety. And so we're proposing that we ask the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment stick to what the mayor's recommendations are. So any questions? I'm trying to keep it quick.
I don't see any questions or any hands pop up.
So this came out of committees. So if there's no discussion, Cheryl, can we just go right to a roll call vote?
Of course. Rock?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
John? Barbara?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Adrianita?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
John DeMaglio?
I'm gonna stay.
Dan?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Second item under executive committee. This is something that we have talked about before. Again, I'm going to let Lori talk a little bit about this. This will make this if we all adhere to it and make it a little bit easier for ourselves to look up files and things like that. So Lori?
Okay, so basically all we're asking is committee chairs, when you're submitting motions or letters for board approval, please include all the recipients and, you know, whoever you want copied, you know, in your submission. Also include, if it's just a motion, include an opening statement of some kind, like the Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council supports blah, 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 or opposes. And then a closing sentence where you have a call to action, where if you're sending something out, when you'd like to have a response. We'd like to hear back from you so-and-so date. And the reason is this goes over to Christina. She just copies and pastes it on our letterhead and off it goes. But quite often she's calling me and saying, I don't know who the letter goes to. I don't know if they're asking for a call for action. So this request is just so that when you've done the hard work in your committee to get this motion set up, we can quickly get it out to whoever you want it to go to.
I'd like to add just one thing to this, and that is, if there is a call to action, if there is an action item of some type that there is an expectation, committee chair, please follow up with that department or that unit that this is going to, so that we hold that department accountable for our letter. Too often we kind of forget about them and they just filter out into the data sphere out there. So please make sure that there is follow-up, chairs, so that we can make sure that the departments, the individuals that we're writing to, understand that we are expecting something from them. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ray, for that. And if I could just add, a real easy way to do that is committee chairs on your agendas. If you've sent something out that you need an answer for, put on your agenda old business, so you keep it on your agenda and you remember to follow up at the next meeting or whenever. So that would be a suggestion. Ray, I'm going to table item B because it needs more discussion as far as the file naming, because working with Christina, there may be a change to that.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's
You want me to cover the next one then?
yeah, let's shoot for number 3.
Okay.
Again, Lori.
So as you know, outreach has been tasked to do everything we can to promote the election. And the first part of it is getting candidates. Okay. And so the outreach committee is working with the election committee on quite a few things, but we thought each committee chair, if you could list on your agenda neighborhood council elections, and my commitment to you is before your next meeting, if at all possible, I will have something for you that's a brief outline. So at your meeting, you can say, here's the dates when candidates can file, and here's how they file. So we just want to, your committees quite often have the best people for us to consider, or that might be interested in joining our board. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to email me, and it'll be my job to follow up with you to have something to talk about.
And if I can, I like to kind of use this as an example of something that, again, we have talked about before, and that is the ability for our various committees to work in partnership with each other, because there is some overlap in some issues that we talk about. So it's a good idea that if we're going to look at a particular item, and there might be another excuse me, another committee that could have something to participate in or to say about the issue. So please look about partnering with other committees so that there's a more comprehensive overview of what it is that we're hoping to accomplish. In this case, here's an example of outreach and elections that they're working together in this coming season of elections. So I just kind of want to just throw that out there. Don't forget, let's partner with each other to help share the workload, because it can be daunting at times. So, okay, so let's move on to the next committee, and that's Budget and Finance. Melanie?
Hi, Cheryl. Can you bring up the Budget and Finance package?
Oh, just give me a minute.
And just want to remind everybody about the time piece, so you consider it.
Do you? Yeah, okay, I found it. I wasn't sure.
There we go. There's the minutes. So scroll down to the MER. That's the budget. So the next one should be the MER. Oh, no.
There it is.
Okay, so the first thing we'll go over is the MER. This is not out of committee because the MERs are not available until generally around the 7th of the month, and our meeting was before that. So this will need a motion to put this forward in a second. Our net available is $26,295.12. We had the expenses of the MPGs, as well as we had the expenses of mailroom, and that's all we had this time. And so I need a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion.
And a second?
Second,
Who is that?
Dan.
Okay, Dan. And any discussion?
Call for the vote.
Okay, call for the vote. Roll call. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbara?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
And Adrianita,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes. Yes.
John DeMeglio,
No.
Dan Dixon,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jan Kane,
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly? Kelly Miller? Is she there? Is she out? Okay.
Want to move on?
Alec?
Ineligible.
Oh, that's right. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. To the budget. Cheryl? Cheryl?
Yeah, I'm working. I'm working.
Okay, yeah, it's back to the second page.
Yeah, I was trying to take a shortcut. It just didn't want to hear it.
Okay, so here's the budget. You can see here, administrative funds, this is the balance. Newsletter, 1, 2, outreach, unallocated funds, and then the website, Christina's still working on it. And then scroll down, and then there's 2,000 in expenditures for election, and then the 26, 295.12. This is out of committee. Any discussion? No discussion. Call for the vote. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbara?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Adrianita?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes. Yes.
John DeMeglio?
No.
Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Lori Jacobs?
Yes.
Jan Kane?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly Miller, out still. And Ray?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Next, we have a request for funding for the newsletter. The newsletter, we have to increase the funding because we discovered that there's a portion between 10th and 13th and Myler to Western that is not being covered by our newsletters. It's not being mailed out. And to get better coverage in that area represented as far as, you know, being able to be part of the elections, we need to include them into this bulk mailing. So the request is to increase the allocated $41.50 up by $300 to make it $44.50 for the newsletter. This is out of committee. So any discussion on this?
Melanie, I just want to make clear, it's the addition of 700 homes, and this $300 also covers an increase in bulk postage that's going up in January.
Any other comments? Call for the vote. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbara?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Adrianita?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
Abstain.
Okay, Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jan Kane?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly Miller, still out? Okay. And Ray?
Yes.
Next item is for an ad in San Pedro today. It's a request. Can you scroll up, Cheryl, to the next one? There you go. This is to come out of elections, the $2,000 election allocation. It's for $700 to promote the election, call for candidates. That'll be in San Pedro today. And it will be a half-page ad. This is out of committee. So any discussion? Okay, so call for the vote. Rock?
Yes.
Armando?
Yes.
John Barbara?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
No.
Okay. Adrianita?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jan Kane?
Yes.
Melanie, yes. Kelly Miller?
Yes.
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 And Ray?
Yes.
And that is it.
Okay. Thank you, Melanie.
You're welcome.
And so next item will be bylaws and election committee. Brian and or Diana.
Okay, so Dunn had made some unilateral changes to the bylaws, and going through those, some of the bylaw changes didn't mesh with what we had on there, so we drafted a letter which passed unanimously in committee. It's attached. You guys should be able to see it. There's 3 essential bylaw changes here. The first one is just making sure that one section regarding the youth member being 14 to 18 years of age complies with the rest of the sections. One of the sections they didn't change continues to say that the youth member should be under 21 years of age. So that needed to be changed. The second was the definition of eligibility for each sheet, or excuse me, each seat. And our definition of the community stakeholder was changed and needed to be updated. You can see the changes there as well in the letter. And then finally, the last section was for who could vote for the youth seat. So we needed to change some language there. So this letter is being sent to Dunn, basically requesting that we are able to change those since it's outside of the normal time period for us to be able to to request a bylaw change, and it's due to the unilateral changes that they made. So again, it was passed out of committee. Any discussion on the letter?
So we need to vote on it, or we can just accept that came out of your committee?
I mean, we'll need to vote to send it, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. You have one hand up, Ray.
Okay, now let me see who that is, and that
John
looks
DeMeglio.
like it's John DeMeglio. John?
Just to clarify, how many people are on your committee?
I believe we have 3 standing members, and then a few people show up on a regular basis. It is not the most popular committee. Any discussion on the letter? I'm trying to get through all this stuff today.
Call for the vote.
Doesn't look like anyone else is looking, so.
Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Rock?
Yes.
Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong place. Hang on. I'm confused. I'll fix it.
11C1.
Yeah, I don't know what I did to my vote count sheet, but I'm confused. I'll fix it. Armando?
Yes.
John Barbera?
Yes.
Mary Chan?
Yes.
Adrianita?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
No.
Dan?
Yes.
Cynthia?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Melanie?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, the next item, it doesn't really call for a vote at this point in time. It's in regards to location, the paper applications for candidates and also to register to vote. While most of this is going to be done online, we do need to have several locations for those wishing to be able to pick up actual paper applications and being able to register there. So the locations that we have to try and cover the sections of our boundaries are Peck Park, the Assistance League, which I believe is in the Weymouth Corners area, and then Christina's office. And some of the requirements of those locations had to be they could be open to the public for specific parts of the day, and that people would be able to come in as necessary. We discussed it in the meeting, tried to find some alternate locations, and ultimately these areas seem to be the most, grant the most access, I would say. So if there is another suggestion of that, we do have some time. Peck Park and Assistance League are pretty solid. I believe, Diana, what was the area that Christina's office was covering?
That's the far southern part that goes down of our district that goes down to 19th Street.
Yeah, if anybody has a better suggestion for that area, by all means, let us know, but we couldn't really come up with something that was going to have access enough for people to be able to come in and pick up those documents.
Those are good choices.
Let's see. Now we had given this out before, I believe. We are Region 12. That's going to be the last region vote to take place, which is indicated earlier today was June 15th, 2021. In our prior, I think it was last month's meeting, we had sent the Region 12 election timeline out. The candidate filing period is going to begin February 13th, 2021. And then the filing period will close on March 30th, 2021. After that period of time, there is a challenge period for candidates if somebody feels they don't meet the requirements. But all those deadlines are in place on that election timeline. What we do need to do, I believe, is finalize a date for the candidate information session so that we can get those out in the newsletter, preferably before the candidate filing period begins. So we're going to need to get those tabled for a specific time as soon as possible.
Braun?
When's the newsletter going out?
When I feel like it. No. Sorry, I'm getting tired. The newsletter is going to go out. We wanted to hit the first week of February, just a week before the candidates can apply. Also, our board meeting in February is a week before that February 13th date. So we've already kind of got it scheduled that our presentation at the board meeting will be all about the election and how candidates can file. So that's kind of a candidate forum per se.
Okay. So that was the majority of the meeting. We had discussed, again, the outreach ideas for everybody to mention it during their specific committee meetings as sort of an add-on to the end. Our goal here is really to get as many interested candidates as possible and make them as educated as possible so that we have a good selection for people to be voting for. So Diana, was there anything else I think I missed?
I think we did get confirmation that the ballot box for the people that want to drop it off will be at Peck Park, because they were looking at either doing it where we wanted it or doing it where the county had done it. Well, the county did it there. So they said, okay, it'll be there. So we did get that confirmation.
So the ballot drop box will be at Peck Park for anybody who voted in that area. I imagine it'll be located in the same spot.
We asked a lot of questions that we didn't get answers to, but we'll keep following up.
Yep. Okay, nothing else, then let's move it on.
Okay, thank you, Bron. Next item is our planning and land use. And Diana.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. We actually had a lot of items in our report this month, but I'm going to suggest, because it's already 8:30, that we just go through a couple of them, and that the 4 CISs that are in here, I'm going to recommend, if it's all right with you, Ray, that maybe you'd like to put those over to the January meeting. We won't be, planning and land use won't be meeting again between now and then, so this would be and city council isn't meeting right now, so I'm going to suggest we put those over. But I do want to start and do the presentation on Ponte Vista, if Cheryl can put that up on the screen.
I have a presentation. I have a draft motion.
You don't see a presentation?
No, oh, I didn't put the presentation.
You didn't put the presentation? Okay, well, I'll tell you.
That was like 30 pages.
Well, yes, but all we ever show is the first page of it.
Cheryl, it's on our, it's in the agenda packet. It's a PDF.
Well, they all are. Oh, I think it might be this. Okay, hold on. Okay,
So,
let me.
I'll go ahead and get started.
Talk. Yeah.
I'll talk while she's looking for it. As we've discussed before, Ponte Vista has a specific plan that was approved a number of years ago. And in it, Ponte Vista was divided into 6 sub areas, each of which had a different housing product. So at the previous meetings, we presented the plans for the sub areas 1 and sub areas 3. And tonight, this is the plan for what is called sub area 2. Just the first page, just back there. Yeah, unless someone has another question, we won't go to the other pages. So now we have the plans for the sub area 2. The builder for sub area 2 is KB Homes, the same developer as sub area 3. And they are calling this area Sky View at Ponte Vista. This area will be denser than area 1, where they had the large single family homes with yards. But it's not as dense as the one that you saw last time, sub area 2, where they had the 3-story single family homes with no yards. So consistent with the specific plan for this area, the builder is proposing 60 2-story, 4-bedroom homes ranging in size from around 2,300 square feet to just over 2,500 square feet. Like in the other areas, and as required by the specific plan, they have 3 different styles of homes, with each style having 3 different elevations, so that no adjacent homes look alike. And so you can see on here the basic three styles. Some of them, a unique feature in this particular development is that some of them will also have covered patios. Another feature that is unique is that they will all have solar installed on them. So this is the first one out of the development that will actually have solar pre-installed. So the motion before you tonight is to support their entitlement requests. Now you can put the motion up, Cheryl.
While she's doing that, are we going to get more with solar panels like that? That's awesome.
Well, we don't know. The others are different builders. So KB Homes has made a decision that all homes that they build from now on out will have solar panels, they said.
Good deal.
Diane, if I can ask, what is the price point for those?
They're guessing around $1 million.
Oh.
So it's priced in between the other two. The the area 1 was like 1.2, and area 3 they said was up in the high 9s. So they're saying around $1 million. It's what the market will bear when they sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion before you tonight is to support their entitlement request, and there are 2 parts of it. The first one is to find that their plan is consistent with the specific plan, which it is. It appears to be from our review of it. And the other is to allow for some slight variations in the facade zone. And those variations in the facade zone basically are to allow, to accommodate the ones that have patios outside. So that is the motion before you. It got a unanimous vote at the committee.
Diana, it says a review needs to be written reviewed in the first paragraph.
What?
The review in the first paragraph, that word's underlined.
Yeah.
has reviewed the requested
Reviewed.
entitlement.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We'll change that.
You have one hand up with Rock?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the progress they made during COVID has been amazing because all 6 areas are now sold out. I mean, sold to builders.
They
They
aren't.
actually say, what?
That's not correct. They're not
All
sold.
6, the 6 areas have been sold to home builders.
Well, yeah, we're going to have a report on that in a minute.
No, I know. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on the great progress. I actually took a little tour of it. I met Mitch. We had them to our team meeting. It's just been really impressive what they've been able to do during COVID times. So that's just
Alec is going to give the rest of our report after we take the motion.
Okay, this is out of committee, right?
This is out of committee, it was unanimous out of the committee. Ray, it's all yours.
Any discussion? Doesn't look like it. No questions. Cheryl? Volka?
Rock. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Armando.
Yes.
John Barbera.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Adrianita. Braun.
Yes.
John DeMaglio.
No.
Dan.
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Jan.
Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
Kelly. I'll come back to Kelly. Alec.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Kelly. I'll consider her out of the room. Motion passes. Oh, there, I heard you. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay.
Alec is going to give the rest of the update on Ponte Vista.
All right.
Okay, so this will be quick. So for the sub area 1, model homes are almost complete. They've been doing construction for a while now, and they have started selling the houses. For sub area 2, they just got the entitlements from us. Sub area 3, they just started construction on the model homes, but they have not started selling any of them. For sub area 4, they have chosen that the developer is going to be Meritage. For sub area 5, it's going to be constructed by Taylor Morrison. And the sub area 6 is going to be constructed by the master developer of the project.
Okay, unless you want me to do the CISs tonight, I will skip those in Ray.
Yeah, for the sake of timing, I
Yeah.
appreciate that,
Thank you.
Diana.
I do want to give a couple updates though.
Sure, go ahead.
They're kind of timely, a couple of them. The first one is 5 Pours. You may remember that we voted to support their request for a CUB for a boutique wine shop. They're hearing before the zoning administrators tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. The notice is on our website. If you want to attend and need more information, let me know. It's kind of a way to see, how our actions get carried out through the zoning administrator process. The next one is the storage facility at 2515 North Gaffey. They had their hearing a couple of weeks ago. The developer did incorporate everything that we suggested, including a first source hiring provision and a community benefit of additional curbs, gutters, and sidewalk along a small portion of North Gaffey. I spoke at the hearing and I requested that all of the provisions that they had agreed to be included in the letter of determination. The next thing is about street furniture. And I also sent this out to everyone, but street furniture really refers to bus benches, shelters, trash receptacles. It can include, and sometimes does, hand washing stations and public restrooms. The contract that the city now has for street furniture is expiring at the end of the year. And the Board of Public Works has gone out with a request for proposals for a new street furniture program. They're looking at making a number of changes to update the program, such as real-time bus arrival information, interactive maps of the local area, and electronic advertising rather than static advertising. One of their goals is to generate additional revenue for the city. They're also seeking a more equitable distribution of street furniture, although what that will be based on is unclear. At the time that the RFP was released, there was a lot of pushback from neighborhood councils that they had not had any input. As a result, Street Services is now doing a series of meetings aimed specifically at neighborhood council members. I've sent it to you, and I've also put the schedule on our website. It's kind of interesting. And so if you are interested, you can contact me for more information. They also have a survey about street furniture available on their website, and that's streetsla.lacity.org. So if you go on streetsla.lacity.org and click on transit furniture, you would find both the survey and the workshop information. There will be more about this coming up through the course of the year, because they will be coming back to neighborhood councils for additional input. I don't know if I want to, I'm not sure what John was going to report on Channel Street Skate Park. I also have a report on it, John, so I don't know if I've got the same thing. They determined that a skate park's not an appropriate use of port land. And therefore, the councilman has introduced a motion to transfer the property from the Harbor Department to General Services. And General Services would then sign a lease with the Skate Park Association. We'll put this on our next planning committee to come back with a CIS on that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was West Harbor. At the last joint planning committee, there was a presentation on West Harbor. That is the new name for the public market. What the developers are going to be giving that presentation, or a similar one, at your January board meeting. So I'm not going to go into it, but I did want to say that in preparation for that meeting, you may want to look at the presentation they provided to our committee, which is on our website. And you might want to look at the notes from the December joint committee meeting that have a lot of comments that came up out of that meeting. The next joint meeting is January 13th, and we'll be talking about the redevelopment of Rancho San Pedro, and also the plan and the schedule for the bull bouts that are going to be built on Gappy as a part of the Gappy Great Streets Initiative. And then the next meeting of the Northwest would actually be after our next board meeting. So that's my report.
Thank you, Diana and Axel. John, you say you have something to say about the Channel Street Skate Park. Do you want to wait till community issues, or do you want to do it under this committee?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, since we kind of already touched upon that, you want to go ahead and add what you...
Yeah, I've been working with Axel on this too, and that's not what I was told, Diana. So when he just sent me today, that the update is that they're going to transfer the jurisdiction. There's been initiated to the council. They're anticipating having a lease agreement with the San Pedro Skate Park Association by February of next year. And, he's going to let me know further on this.
There is an actual council motion. I have a copy of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And about the graffiti and stuff, he says once it goes under construction repairs, beginning early in the year, they will have a team to remove the graffiti. But in the meantime, he says we can call and use the 311 app, and they can come out and do the pressure washing and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's funny because that's what he sent me today. So unless they're not keeping up with him. So.
Well, I got my information from Axel too, but
wow.
He reported at our meeting, but I got the motion from him. I think the difference is he was talking about being able to go in February and do some of these things, but that's the actual transfer will probably take longer. I would be shocked if they were able to do it in that time frame.
Yeah.
I know the city too well.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, Ray.
Well, thank you. I just feel, personally, I feel a bit frustrated because it seems like we have been having so many discussions over so long a time about the skate park. And it seems like there's always something that prevents the skate park to be provided or go back to the people who have kept it up and I've never seen it in this condition, as far as I can remember.
Skaters are
so-
really, really frustrated by it too.
Who is?
The skate park association is really frustrated.
Sure, I can well imagine.
They're,
So,
you know, as they're watching it be destroyed.
and I'm a little bit concerned that now the onus comes onto the community to ask for graffiti to be cleaned up when that stuff is public. And do they not have a contract with GAP to take graffiti off that area, or public areas like that? I don't know the ins and outs of that, but it seems to me that once a piece of graffiti goes up and they don't address it right away, it just opens up the gates, for other graffiti artists to go out there and
Yeah.
eat. So okay, I appreciate the work that you guys are doing with Axel and so on. So it looks like there is some good pieces coming out that we don't have to now rely on the port, because I think the port was kind of dragging their feet also in this whole thing. So now we just have one point of contact and we know where to go. So thank you all for that work. Because I can hardly wait till I use that skate park myself.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I like to see it myself. Right after my knee operation, okay? So, okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much, you guys. Axel, I'm sorry. Alexander and Diana, for the report. And so we're gonna move on to the next item, and that is our Community Issues Committee.
You have a hand up.
Okay. Oh, I see a couple hands up. Okay, Armando, I see first, and then we'll go to the attendees. Peter will be next. Okay, Armando, you want to go ahead and ask your question? Sorry.
Yeah, this very long. It's a very simple question, and it's out of line with anything. It's not listed on anything, but what I'm trying to get to is I'm trying to see if some of the new people that we have on board would like to be on the homeless committee. Like I was looking at the names of some of the new people that we have on board.
Ray, this isn't the time for this. We're
So,
on.
yeah, Armando, if you don't
I know
mind,
that. I'm trying to just get some people.
I understand that, but let's get through the agenda. We have a section down at the bottom. Let me see. We refer to it as
New items.
board member general comments on non-agenda items, item 13. So that would be probably a better, more appropriate place to make your ask, Armando. And I'll make sure that we don't forget that.
Okay.
So thanks a lot. Peter, you're up next.
Yeah, on that community issues, are we on that one?
No, actually, we thought we were still with the last part of the planning and land use. Is your question for community issues?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's let Dan get into the community issues, and then we'll make sure that you get your question answered. So Dan?
Ready? Good.
Ready.
Thank you. Couple of housekeeping items first. The request for proposals at the defense fuel supply point on North Gaffey is still being reviewed by the Navy. I had an email from the public information officer in Seal Beach about it. He said he is surprised that nothing has happened yet. And I don't dare to think what that might mean. But he said if he doesn't hear anything in the next few days, he suspects the situation will be locked in the abyss of the holidays. So we probably won't hear anything till after the new year. I will reach out to him again this week and see if he's heard anything. He is eager to get back to us with information about what's going on there. Secondly, there's a concern in probably several neighborhoods, but especially in Harbor Highlands homes about train noise at all hours of the night. And the train noise we have, perhaps not surprisingly, determined to be caused by the Harbor Beltline train traversing along Gaffey from the port up to the tanks at Westmont. There's no way on earth to stop those trains. We will be talking in committee and coming up with a plan to talk to the port and the railroad operator about perhaps limiting shipments in the middle of the night. I can't begin to say what that will mean, but we're going to follow up on this and see if we can get anywhere with it to at least reduce noise during the middle of the night. The only action item we have tonight is a motion that is out of committee requesting the the Bureau of Street Services and the Department of Transportation in their appropriate roles to study the opportunity for handicap parking on Gatun Street to serve Harbor Highlands Park. As many of you know, the park is heavily used now during non-COVID times, which we trust will return in the not too distant future. And there is a lot of parking around the park when it's being used, but there is no handicap parking allocated anywhere around the park. Our suggestion is that 2 spots be created on Gatun Street, just west of the driveway apron into the park, by which city vehicles and occasionally rogue civilian vehicles enter the park. To the west of that driveway apron is an open sidewalk with that is straight enough for at least 2 parking spaces. And our wish is that that be looked at to create 2 handicap spots. The other side of the park, as you know, is on Capitol Drive. We thought about that, but it's a much busier street and more limited opportunities for access and egress for wheelchairs. Also, there are no driveway aprons with appropriate parking areas on that side of the park. So our call to action is requesting the appropriate city departments to take action. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to mention there's a big slab of buckled concrete in the sidewalk created by trees growing adjacent to the basketball court at the park. So we are requesting immediate action to repair the sidewalk and also to designate and install 2 handicap parking spaces to serve Harbor Highlands Park at the earliest possible date. That's the motion out of committee, and I hope you will consider it.
Okay, so we're at the discussion portion, and looks like we have Peter who would like to make a comment or ask a question. Peter, you're up.
Okay, I like to table the subject matter due to the fact I have an explanation, and the explanation is the reason for tabling is I don't like to see 2 handicap parking spaces due to the fact they can be occupied by people that have the stickers all day, and we don't know who they are. Now, anyhow, but I will agree on the cartoon side and will suggest, and I want to give it a thought for the next meeting. We should have something there on the cartoon side. Instead have a handicap, we should have a yellow line there for loading and unloading. because the handicap, if we would have a parking lot there, it would be okay. But we have no parking lot that is all curbside, and that has to also be accommodated for the handicap. So there's a lot of things involved and a lot of dots involved. So we should think about it. Instead of a handicap there, have for unloading and loading there for the people that use that park to make it user friendly. Then the handicap, we don't want people parked there all day because they have a handicap sticker. I have a handicap sticker too. I'm handicapped. A lot of other people, and there's a lot of people that abuse the handicap parking. So give it a thought, and the idea is good then, but give it another thought. I think we better off to have yellow striping there for loading and unloading for park users to make it more community friendly, the park, then instead of have some handicapped people, they're illegal. There's a lot of people that have illegal handicap stickers and they park there all day. So give it another thought.
Thank you,
That's my
Peter. Dan, any response?
I would respond that the question of illegitimate stickers is a question of enforcement. It's a problem wherever there's handicap parking. I anticipate that this motion will begin a discussion with the city since nothing is ever easy. And questions include putting a time limit on the parking spaces there, no overnight parking, as much of the park is already designated, et cetera. We believe that that the space we're asking for is a logical place for handicap parking, and there are ADA rules that require handicap parking in this sort of situation. We, I believe, are heading off future questions and also providing a needed function at that park in a safe location. So I stand by the motion as written, but as I say, it's a discussion. It will be a discussion with the city because DOT is never, in my experience, has never simply said yes to anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. John DeMaglio, your hand is up.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I'm agreeing with Pete is that whole side of Gatun is right now red. There is no parking lot there. And then if you're gonna put a parking spot there, and I have a parking, handicap parking spot for my son also. And my deal is when these parking spots go up in neighborhoods or whatever, the person that it's intended for never gets that parking spot. Basically, everybody takes it. Anybody in that area can take that parking spot and leave their car there overnight. I'm more inclined to say, a 20-minute yellow line for passengers to be dropped off if they're handicapped or not. And they can and the driver can relocate their cars or however it works. But I don't see it as far as having, and then also the neighbors, before you even do something like that, the neighbors across the street need to be informed. There's nobody informing these two neighbors, the people that are across the street. And if they got handicap placards, they can use that all night long also. So this really has to be looked at before it's put into the city process. I can see a lot of problems with this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Dan, any comment?
Somebody speaking up there?
I have a backup question.
Wait.
Pete,
He can ask a question.
can you, would you like to respond to John's?
I understand what he's saying. I understand what Pete's saying. As I have said, I believe this is the beginning of a process.
Right.
Because nothing ever comes easy with the Department of Transportation.
Right.
We're asking for this from the city, and my anticipation is they will respond with, if not an approval, at least an explanation of what would need to be done. I personally don't object to tabling this, and I'm willing to do it. I do not agree that I don't require a handicap placard, and so I'm not as qualified to speak as the two gentlemen who have spoken. Therefore, I'm willing to table this pending further information.
I see Lori's hand up. Lori?
Thank you, Ray. Dan, I wouldn't back off this at all. Handicap parking and loading zones have nothing to do with each other. They're two different animals. Okay. And to say that we won't allow. I'm sorry, is there somebody else talking?
No, go ahead.
No.
Okay. To say you're not going to allow handicap parking because people will abuse it, then why do we have handicap parking anywhere? That's a terrible thing to say. And I don't want limited parking for handicap. What if the handicap person is the driver? They can't drop themselves off. Okay. We're just asking for the discussion. Dan, I think we should continue with the letter. We should take a vote with our board. Okay. And ask DOT. They know what to do to get this going, but I wouldn't stop this. We're trying to make this park more accessible to people who have, legitimate handicap placards. So I say, let's please at least call for the vote. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Lori. Thank you. And I do stand by the motion.
We have one additional hand that went up from an attendee, Victor Christensen. And it looks like we have John DeMaglio wanting to make a second comment. So let's go with with Victor. We are a minute over our hopeful time to adjourn, but let's go with Victor. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
I was just about to type in. I couldn't unmute because there was nothing for me to do.
Okay.
And I'm just going to back up Lori and Dan both. If you look at the second line of the motion, it is to do a study. It is not to get their approval outright. So I don't see any problem with letting this go through, because it is to, like Dan said, start a discussion and do a study. And part of that process of doing a study would be to notify the neighbors and so on.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Due to the time, can we call for the vote, Ray?
Thank you.
I have my hands up too.
But you both have already spoken.
So
I have my hand up.
So, John, do you want to say something different, or John
Yeah.
DeMaglio?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. Please make it quick so that we can
This
move
park
on.
was built in the early 60s, if not 50s, 60s. And we've never had handicap parking there. And I don't, if anybody that is for handicap parking is myself, because I use it. I use it for my son, okay? And I see the abuse of it. And I see the abuse of people that in the neighborhood take over that handicap parking.
Okay.
And before we make a decision on this, we've done that and had studies on the bathrooms and everything else, and it wasn't favorable in the neighborhood. We need to start first of notifying the neighbors before we even start anything like this.
Thank you, John. It looks like we have Cynthia also. Cynthia, you'll be the last comment.
Okay. Oh, I'm up now?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I do think there was a good idea to have somebody from the committee talk to the people across the street about it. Just, during the whatever we were supposed to be doing during the study or the survey of that area.
Well, I would certainly be included. I've talked to the
Okay.
people on the corner, but I
That was
can't say
all.
I've had a formal engagement with them about it.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Okay, so let's go for the vote. Cheryl?
Okay. Rock,
Yes.
Armando. Any status on Armando? I'll come back to him. John Barbera,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Adrianita, Braun,
Strong, yes.
John DeMeglio,
No.
Dan,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Lori,
I'm muted. Yes.
thank you. Jan,
Yes.
Melanie,
Abstain.
Kelly, I'll come back to Kelly, Alec,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Armando's yes.
Armando, yes, thank you.
Okay. I believe it passes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Let's move on to the next. Dan, is that the end of your report?
Thank you. Yes.
Great, thank you. All right, let's go to public safety. And time check, it's 9:05.
Okay. Public safety only has one item, and Cheryl, if you could bring the CIS up.
Working on that. Hang on a minute.
Melanie, go ahead and start talking about it.
What this
Oh,
is
there
is
it
CIS to basically oppose the decrease in emergency management funding. What they've done is they're proposing to reduce the budget drastically below the 20 and 21 levels, and which doesn't make sense, because if there's an earthquake already, when I did the budget advocate report last year and met with the Department of EMD, they said they were below budget, and if anything ever happened in the LA area that the emergency lasted more than 2 weeks, we would be out of people, we would be out of funding, we would be out of resources. And if ever there's a department, again, like I said, public safety, emergency management are not the places where you cut money. So this is a CIS out of committee to oppose them. Whoops, where's the CIS?
I don't have it.
The minutes. Yeah, it's attached to this. It should be in the document there.
Nope, this is a one pager and it was all I was sent. And oh,
Oh,
that's Ponta
really?
Vista. Hang on a minute. That's Ponta Vista also. What happened here? I don't know what you're seeing, but what I'm seeing is not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Cheryl.
I'm looking on your website, which is my backup, and I see one thing for public safety, and this is it.
It's in the same report, maybe, Melanie?
Attached?
Yes.
I'll double check, but I don't think so. Hang on.
I'm looking too.
Public safety. Nope. Oh, now I found it. Okay, it's in the PDF, but not in the Word version. I will share that.
There we go. So here it is. The Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council supports CF 2001 to exempt the emergency management from managed hiring freezes for a position of assistant general manager 3, all 4 emergency ones, plus any future vacancies that would be put forth operation department Angelenos at risk, we oppose cutting the budget of the Emergency Management Department below levels of fiscal year 2019-20. It's an essential service department dedicated to ensuring public safety in the event of earthquakes, wildfires, floods, civil disturbances, terrorist attacks, and pandemics. Furthermore, we recommend the minimum of 5 million of the 150 million taken from LAPD should be directed to the public safety sector, Emergency Management Department. The purpose is to rebuild and ensure the EMD has resources and personnel necessary to maintain a full operational status, including 24/7 operation of the city's Emergency Operations Center. We need to preserve sufficient emergency response to protect the future of our city and all Angelenos. This is out of committee. Any discussion?
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands being raised.
Okay, so call for a vote.
Okay, Rock,
Yes.
Armando,
Yes.
John Barbera,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Adrianita,
Yeah.
Braun,
Abstain.
John DeMeglio, John DeMeglio, I'll come back to him. Dan,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
Melanie,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
John DeMeglio. Is he still here? Let me.
No,
I
he's
don't see
gone.
his
I
name
had a,
listed.
okay, I'm gonna have him out at 9, I guess.
What's the total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13 yes, 1 abstention, and 1 John DeMeglio is gone.
Oh, yeah, I still have it on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's speaking? If you can mute yourself, please.
I muted him.
Okay.
Okay,
Is
already.
that it?
Yep, that's it.
Thank you, Melanie. Sustainability is next. Gwen is not here, so we will move on to youth and
So,
outreach.
okay, so, but at least we have, yeah, we can complain.
Hey,
Pete, keep your
Pete,
phone on
can
mute,
you
please.
please go on mute, please?
Keep your palace intrigue strategy to yourself, Pete.
Okay, youth and outreach, Ray. Next month, I'm gonna do the agenda and youth and outreach is gonna be first, but I will pass due to time.
Okay. Thank you for the hit. I appreciate it. Christensen Science Center Ad Hoc Committee, Chris, who's not here, or John DeMeglio, who I believe
here.
is also not here. Okay, so I'm not hearing.
Vic
any-
Christensen.
We got Vic Christensen.
How about, yeah, Victor, would you like to say something?
Yeah,
Are
I
you here with
mean,
us?
nothing really has happened since the last time, but I just wanted to remind people that Food and Be Fed is still there. They're still working there and growing things, and they have a compost program. So if anyone's interested in taking compost over there, they would love to have it. Their standard volunteer hours are Mondays from 9 to noon in the morning, 9 a.m. until noon. So just stop by and see who's there and ask them what they need.
Victor, Christian said something about there being an issue with volunteers at the property. Do you know anything about that? That I guess youth are not allowed to be there or something? Do you know anything about that?
I have not heard anything about that.
Okay, I'll follow up, Christian.
Did he say where he got that from?
I can't remember. I want to say it was LAUSD, but I'll have to follow up with Christian, or maybe you can. So
Maybe unsupervised young children.
no, I don't think that's what it was, but I'll check it out.
All right. Victor, thank you very much for the update. Appreciate it. Next section here is item 12, agenda item 12. We have various liaisons. For the sake of time, I would like to just bypass that and go to item 13 with no objection? Hearing no objection, wait, I see board member general comments for non-agenda items. I know we have Armando that wants to say something. I'm noticing that Rock also has something to say, but is it for Rock? Is it for this agenda item or is it for something else that I rushed
just
through?
wanted to announce real quick, we have food
wait,
toy drive that are, what?
Hey, Rock,
Yeah.
Rock, can we let Armando go first? Because he did
Sure.
want to say something and then you're next. So go ahead, Rock. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Armando.
Yes, I'd like to know if any of the people that have come on board in the past 4 months would like to be on the homelessness committee. We have 3 slots open. We'd like to get them filled because we can really, it's really important subject matter that we're trying to make better. And we just need some volunteers. So does anybody want to join the homeless committee?
Armando, would it be okay if they can think about it and then contact you?
Sure.
Okay.
And I was like, the young lady, the new young lady, that, and there's several new people that came on board, and I'd like to ask them straight up, would you like to join?
Okay.
I mean,
Give 'em a chance.
So, so if you like to consider the offer, the new people, can you please let Armando know at your very earliest convenience? It would be appreciated, I'm sure, by all of us. Thank you, Armando.
Thank you very much for the time.
Rock, you're up.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, Keller Williams LA Harbor on Western Darien Terraces Shopping Center. All week long, we're having a toy and food drive that all goes to Toberman Neighborhood Center. So if you have some pantry goods and toys, we're accepting them. We already got a lot of stuff that shipped off to them this morning. But if you have other things going on, we're accepting it. We're there 9 to 5. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Real quick, the people that I was thinking about was like Jan and Alexander and Andronita.
Why don't you send them an email, Armando?
Okay.
So why don't, I see a hand that's up and it's Peter again. Peter, we're kind of beyond that, any kind of comment, unless you want to make an announcement of some type under agenda item 14. If you do, go right ahead, please. Unmute yourself. Peter. Peter, last time I'm asking. Okay, let's move on. So we're down to our next meeting scheduled for January 11th. I am open for any motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Cynthia makes the motion. It looks, I heard Armando's kind of seconded, but I also see Mary Chan is also putting up either the peace sign or seconding it. So, all in favor, please say yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye, yes.
Okay, sounds like we're adjourned. See you next month on the 11th. Thank you all.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Holidays. Yes,
Merry
to all of
Christmas.
you.
Oh yeah, happy Hanukkah, Lori.
Stay safe.
It's a violation of the Brown Act.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Good night, all.
Good night.
So does anybody want to join the homeless committee?